That was
Okay, Isaac.
horrible.
So here's the thing.
Okay, Derek.
How many
What's
episodes?
the
How
thing?
many episodes?
No, Derek. That's the thing.
Hey,
the
that's
poster
the
on my
thing.
wall is the
Yeah.
thing.
So
There's a thing poster there.
Emily brought up a really good point the other day.
Did she?
And I need
she
you to-
usually does.
I know.
I know her for
she's
making really good points.
Constantly bringing up good points.
Yeah.
Do you think that the reason vampires and werewolves don't get along
Mm-hmm.
is because Dracula tried he was like the OG vampire, right?
Yeah, right. OG vampire.
Everybody knows
And then the
this.
rip-off like Count Orlok and Nosferatu.
Didn't technically Nosferatu come first? I can't remember that.
No, it's a like a
Oh,
deliberate
right. Yes,
100% rip of Dracula.
I was thinking about it opposite. You're right. Okay. Do you think the reason they don't get along is because werewolves have been trying... I
No.
mean, vampires have been trying
Vampires.
for years to
Yeah.
get into London. Like Dracula, he had to take a freaking boat.
Exactly.
He killed a bunch of people. Werewolves,
It's a lot of commotion, you know. It's
Yeah.
a lot of work to do, a lot of paperwork too. Dracula had to like buy like real estate out there.
Yeah, he did.
in order to get all that way. He had to like fill all of his coffins with a shitload of dirt from his ancestral home just so he could live there. Like it's a lot of damn work to get
It's a
out
lot of work.
to London.
yeah. So do you think that that's why there's the conflict? Like,
Is that just because any and every werewolf can just be in London?
yeah. I mean, there's so many movies about it. You
Yeah,
got the
exactly.
American Werewolf in Paris, which
No.
is about a werewolf in
I'm
London.
gonna ignore
and you
that
got an
one.
American Werewolf in London, which is
Yes.
the sequel to that fantastic movie, American Werewolf
Yeah,
in Paris.
people are just plopping werewolves down in London willy-nilly.
They are. All the time.
It's like the old trope in movies where like, you know, they get rid of a kid and they leave them on the doorstep of like an orphanage.
Yeah.
Right? London is the orphanage of werewolves.
That's true.
Werewolf
London-
orphanage.
Werewolf-
London is the werewolf orphanage.
Why do you think they have bad dental care? It's because of werewolves. Everyone
That's what
knows
it
this.
is. So everyone in the UK is a werewolf is what you're saying.
Yeah, is that not common knowledge?
No, that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. Think about like you transform in and out of werewolf form a lot. Your teeth are probably going to be pretty whack, so that actually tracks.
Yeah, it checks out. Okay, so in this scenario,
Yeah.
so we just saw the movie Napoleon.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
we did.
so
We did see the Napoleon.
think about it this way. So Dracula is England,
Yeah.
and werewolves. Wait,
Yeah.
No. Dracula is France,
Yeah.
and the werewolves are London.
Our London.
And Dracula's mad at them because they have boats.
Yeah. And he
You
says,
think
what does
you're
he
so great because you have boats. Which is ironic because Dracula rode on a boat.
Dracula's the
but
one
he
who
did
rode
have
on
to
the Demeter.
stow himself on that boat. Like,
Yeah, he had to
didn't-
be secret about it. A Wolfman could probably just like walk on board, be a regular cabin
he's
member.
just a guy. He only has to transform once a week.
Now imagine that. Imagine a retelling of like
Month.
like similar to the movie The Last Voyage of the Demeter, where it's like Dracula's voyage from, you know, from his place over and stuff. And it's like there's a Wolfman on board who's just a crew member and he's just like antagonizing him the whole time.
Yeah.
He's like, he's like, listen, anybody would take me to London whenever I want, but I'm gonna ride this boat just because I can.
because I can.
Just because this is fun for me, not because I have to, like you, nerd. Can't even come out in the sun, basking in the sunlight. Love it so much.
What?
Oh, love that sun. It's on my fur.
Wait, is he still furry when the sun comes out?
He's just like a really hairy man.
What's the lore for your werewolf?
He's just a very hairy man that is also a werewolf. So like honestly, he doesn't get a lot of fur when it comes time to change.
Okay, he doesn't get a lot of fur flack.
No, exactly.
So,
Derek,
okay.
why are we talking about this?
I don't know, because I'm the co-host of a podcast called That Was Horrorble, where we watch
Wait, what's your name though?
Derek.
Oh,
You said
and
it.
yeah, and I'm Isaac, and I'm the co-host of a podcast called
That Was Horrible.
That Was Horrorble, where we do our best to reviewing the worst in the horror community. And this-
Episode
43. For a sec, I had to think about it because I'm like, I don't know.
I had to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah,
6, 7.
you started that, and I was like, I don't know if I have the numerical like off the top of my head. I'm like, is it 43? Question mark.
You think you're so great because you can count.
Yeah, you think you're so great because you can do math. Which can do math? Wolves or vampires?
Quick side. Wait.
Which is better at math? Vampires have to be better at math.
No,
I feel
no,
like,
no.
but like
Because they
werewolves
count
feel
rice.
more. Yeah, exactly. See, so
Yeah.
they're better at math
Because, like,
This tracks.
think about it this
The
way.
lore works out.
If you, you're little baby Dracula, right?
Little baby
Little baby Dracula. And someone drops an entire bushel of rice in front of you, right?
And you were compelled to count.
You're not the count. You're not going to like sit down and count 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, you
5,
say
6,
that.
7.
I think that's how the lore works.
I know, but eventually you're going to be freaking tired of that. You're going to learn how to count by 5s, by 10s, right? So you're going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25,
Eventually,
30.
you're going to get a vampire who gets to a point where like they get a burlap sack of rice and someone's like, here, count this. And they're like, no. That's, that's 16,198 in there.
And then
like, how did he know?
And then but like to combat that, they start like grabbing handfuls and just throwing them.
He's like, no, it's 9,128. They can do the math like that. And then vampires get really good at those competitions where it's like, guess how many jelly beans are in the jar to win a gift card.
Like at the orthodontist.
You have to sign a waiver that says legally, I am not a vampire.
Wait, I just figured out why vampires aren't from London.
Why?
Because they have to have great dental
They
care.
have to have very good teeth. Transylvanians have wonderful teeth. This is established,
really do.
yeah.
Well, because like werewolves, they grow new teeth, right?
Yes, exactly.
Like you were saying,
they spit them out.
Spit them out, and then they go blip. But vampires, like vampires, they gotta keep their teeth. They gotta keep them crisp.
Yeah, keep them crisp and nice and shiny and pointy.
Think about crisp teeth.
Ugh, crisp.
It's like
crispy
rice
teeth.
crispy treats. But
Back on
for
the
teeth.
counting thing, do you feel
1,
like there's
2.
like there's a society in like in a culture within the vampires where it's like there are machines and such to count a bunch of rice like really really fast?
Oh yeah,
it's like a money machine. You know, you put the rice in it, it counts all of the individual grains of rice. But then there's those like purist vampires who are like, that's not how we do it. This is not tradition. You soil the good name.
No, 100%.
Of vampirism.
And there's like underground societies that have stolen money counting machines from banks.
Yes.
And they're like lying, like all on. It's like going to like get your laundry done at a
Yeah.
laundromat, but it's for rice counting.
But I like to imagine they didn't alter the money counting machine at first. They were just dumping a bunch of rice into money counters.
Oh, yeah,
and it wasn't
definitely.
working very well. Until they had to adjust it and make it work.
Yeah, it was coming out like every grain of rice was like 10 cents. I can't do this, man.
We were talking a lot about vampires for
Why?
an episode where we watched a movie about werewolves.
What?
Because what did we watch this week?
The Wolfman from
watched
2010.
The Wolfman from 2010. Which
Not
is
the Wolfman from another year.
Yeah, this is a direct remake of the Wolfman from 1941, the original with Lon Chaney Jr.
Lon Chaney Jr.
Yep.
And you know why his name was that?
Why was that? Tell me about Lon Chaney Jr. No. Come on. What do you got?
Because his dad worked on a chain gang where they mowed the lawn. And so
it was like so hold on, he named his son after like his company name.
Yeah.
It's us. We're Lon Chaney Incorporated.
because he was a company chain gang. Yeah. It was completely volunteer position. So wait.
What is a chain gang? What is this?
It's when you don't know what
I have
chain
no,
gang is?
no idea what you're talking about.
Keep your head low.
Oh,
you gotta keep your head low.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
from Hades
From
Town.
a good old Hades Town.
So it's like that.
Yeah.
Like you got a gang.
Yes. And you got a chain.
No. So like it's a group of people that are like, it was usually like making railroads, I think, is like the first thing they did.
Like, I've been working on the railroad kind of biz.
Yeah, I mean that's a chain gang song.
Okay, yeah. I've never heard that term before.
Their legs were chained together.
I
Didn't you ever see?
Chain
Did you ever see
gang.
Holes?
Yeah. That's it. That's
I don't
chain
think there
gang.
were any in that.
Nope. You ever see Disney Pixar's Up? It's not in there, but it's a great flick.
So Napoleon was a decent movie.
He thinks everyone's so great because they have boats.
Yeah, but like Destiny brought him that lamb chop.
Destiny brought him lamb chop. Much like Destiny brought us the Wolfman 2010.
There it is. You
That's
followed.
it.
This is why we're still doing a podcast together.
This is how we were at episode 43 and we haven't stopped yet. No one stopped us.
Yeah, good luck. In my brain,
Yeah.
I was like, hey, this is going to be really good. We're going to bring it back to Destiny, and then we're going to talk about The Wolfman,
Yeah.
which was written by David Self.
David Self.
Oh, you did it by
hold
Widow
on.
Selfie.
Now, hold on. We've mentioned this man really recently, right?
I think we mentioned him yesterday.
I want to say it was like the last episode, right?
We didn't record an episode yesterday.
No, we didn't.
But
But
we
it was
could've.
David Self. Remember, he wrote it all by his widow self.
Yeah, he did The Haunting from
Yeah.
1999, which was our last episode. Go
Yeah.
check it out if you didn't listen to it.
Please
it was
do.
a fun time.
What's
We
funny-
talked about Garfield.
What's funny about that one though is the fact that when you were talking about David Self and you were discussing the movies he had done, I looked over to your computer and saw that he had done the Wolfman. I was like, is he just not going to say anything? You just didn't catch it, right? You just like straight
I
up
literally
didn't even
did not see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's
Well,
actually
and at that point we hadn't talked about the Wolfman.
No,
yet,
exactly.
so-
That's what put it in my brain though, because I saw it and I was like, oh right, we've talked about that. And now it's time. The Wolfman is here. He's in the building somewhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, Wolfman has entered the building.
Ladies and gentlemen, will the real Wolfman please stand up?
What if Eminem played the Wolfman?
I don't know.
I would like to see Eminem transform into a wolf.
But you know, Eminem's kind of got like that shaved head kind of look.
Yeah.
It's that, but in wolf form too. So he's all shaved.
Oh no!
It's all buzz cut werewolf.
Oh, that's dope.
Now that's scary.
something.
I don't know if I like it,
So
but
it's like,
something.
have you seen naked bears?
No.
Please Google naked bears.
Naked bears?
And I'll do it for you. So,
Oh no! Yes, I
I'm gonna
have
show
like,
you
like
anyway.
just like a bear without
Naked
fur.
bears.
Yes, everybody go home, or if you're home right now, that's right. You're already
not
there.
what I was. Don't Google.
No,
don't
Derek.
Google- Don't whatever you do. Don't Google naked bear unless that's your thing. Then Google that.
There are other terms to look up. Maybe furless bear, shaved. Now, shaved bear might be bad too. I don't need to describe to you good listeners at home what Derek just pulled up on the computer.
Oh, that was.
I don't advise you look up
There
what he
was
just told you.
literally no issue with what I was seeing. It was the fact that it wasn't a naked bear.
Yes. So maybe
Well,
look up
because it was
bear without fur.
bear without.
Bear without fur, definitely the animal, not a hairy man.
It was weird. I thought I was looking at myself in
There
the
we
mirror for a
go.
second.
They are pretty spooky,
they're
though. A
gross.
bear without its fur looks like a completely different animal.
That was the funniest like old man thing I've ever done
God,
in my life.
I cannot believe that just happened.
I'm
glad all
it's
of
good
you
I
were
wasn't
here
like
to
live
experience
streaming
that
my
with us.
computer.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
I should never ever live stream.
Never. No, it's too dangerous. We can't be doing it. Absolutely not.
Oh, okay. Well, on that note, let's talk about
note,
this movie.
Let's talk about a bear that has all of its fur in this situation.
A bear that has all of its fur.
A bear that needs no introduction because it's not. It's no bear at all.
No, he bared it all.
He's my pal, your pal, and he's no bear of mine.
These guys, they bared it all.
Oh, they did. They did. Well, not necessarily in this take.
Oh my god.
So what do we got?
I don't even know how to recover.
Oh man, just all breathe. Everyone listening, is just like,
let's do some ASMR.
let's just breathe.
Before the podcast,
I don't know if I want
Isaac
this.
told me that we weren't
I'm gonna
going to
stand
do an
further away.
ASMR
I'm like, yeah.
episode.
Nah.
What Isaac doesn't realize is I've got that weird gene in my brain that when I hear whispering, I get pissed off. Which is actually what Jeffrey
That
Dahmer
weird
had.
gene. Is that real?
No.
Oh. I'm just saying.
It's okay to lie if you're
This is
sarcastic.
just lies o'clock the episode. We're just a lie a minute.
Okay, real quick, let's just get it out of the way. We're
get it
only
out.
12 minutes in. We just need to talk about Garfield for like 30 seconds, and then we can move on.
I was so clean. I was like, I got nothing to say about Garfield this episode.
I have one thing to say.
Give me your Garfield.
Today, this lady came up to me at work.
Uh-huh.
I had made some Korean barbecue.
Completely unconnected to your normal life and this podcast. Somebody else came up and made Garfield a thing in your life.
Just they didn't mean to.
Okay.
So she came up to me and she's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I made these like delicious Korean barbecue chicken bowls,
But not
rice
lasagna.
bowls. It was so good. It was like cup It was not lasagna.
Okay.
Not everything's lasagna.
Should be though.
It was so good. Anyway, she comes up and she's like, "Well, guess it's Monday again." And obviously I cringe. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Ugh, here we go."
Disgust.
But then she was like, "It's only it's one day closer to Friday." I'm like, "Okay, no, wait a minute. You hate your life that much that Friday being
Friday
4
is
days
the
away
day.
is better."
Is better than it being the 5 days. Good Lord.
She's a sweet woman. I
Yeah.
thought it was funny in the moment, but then I was like thinking about it. I was like, "Do you need help?"
Can we make,
Maybe she listens to
can
this
we make
podcast.
t-shirts
You know
though
who
that-
you are if you're out there. And
Can we make t-shirts that are just like 1 day closer to Monday? Oh.
See,
It's like really push the pro Monday narrative.
So in a couple episodes ago, I
Yeah.
may be putting together a little bit of a supercut of all of our Garfield content.
It's
and
quite a few. There's one episode specifically where we said the name Garfield
72 times.
an exuberant amount of time.
And I would
it's
like
ridiculous.
I would like to take this time to apologize.
Yes. Hello, it's us.
I believe the episode that we did that in was Werefield Monday Strikes Back
Oh man.
or Strikes Again. or-
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
I don't
Yes.
remember.
I think the movie we watched
I
was
remember.
Cursed, if that's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Whatever
no,
one
it
that
was
one
Werefield.
was. Where something like that.
Anyway, my point is, I'd like to take this time to apologize to our great listeners.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you all dearly.
We have now
I'm-
become.
I'm glad
a-
you guys have come here today. You've gathered for us. Thank
Yep,
you all. It's
yep,
good to
thank
see
you,
you.
thank
Hi,
you.
Nan. It's also your hair looks nice. Yeah, I noticed.
person
yeah.
from work today. Hi,
Yeah.
love you.
Guy that I don't know. Hey, it's
hey,
good to see you
hey,
too.
Love to meet you. Come watch a movie with us sometime.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Oh, right. We are now a Garfield podcast. So officially starting right now, we will be changing our name to That Was Garfield. And we watch any movie in the world, but we only talk about it in the context that Garfield is the main character.
Yeah, exactly. So anytime we talk about the Wolfman in this movie, imagine it's the Garthman.
Yes.
You know, he's transformed himself into a Garfield wolf creature.
Yeah, it was really strange watching Napoleon the other day because he was only eating lasagna the entire movie, and he was Garfield.
I know a lot of people have been talking about like the historical inaccuracies in Ridley Scott's Napoleon, but like I really was not expecting him to just like be a cat the whole time, crawling up on the table, you know, pawing at John, and eating lasagna the whole time.
And everyone was talking about Napoleon's mommy issues, but really all I saw was John.
Yeah,
issues.
exactly. And then he shot Nermal with a cannon through the chest.
Yeah, he did.
That was crazy.
That was insane.
That was nuts.
That's kind of a spoiler, though. I don't think people know about.
What are you talking about? Nermal died.
And then there's that part where he's sitting at the dinner table having a fight with his wife right next to his mother.
Yeah.
And John's there too. Garfield's wife, everyone's favorite character.
Everyone
he says,
Garfield's wife.
Destiny brought me here. Destiny brought me this lasagna.
Destiny brought me this lasagna.
We also saw Godzilla with Garfield, which was crazy because Garfield was just rampaging a town.
Exactly. And, you know, like usually Garfield's a lovable little scamp, but this one is kind of evil.
Kind of evil.
Kind of a bad guy. Just
rising up from the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. Tearing up Tokyo. It's wild.
And it was weird. It was an interesting take to have Nermal be the main character of that movie. I thought that was a choice.
But like very human. I didn't expect to like him at first, and I was honestly kind of like, you know, Garfield's out. I'm kind of here. I'm on Team Nermal.
I was on Team Nermal as well.
Yeah, I'm a Nermal guy.
It was not a Nermal thing to feel, but I really felt Nermal.
It was quite abnormal for me.
There it is. We're on the same boat. All right, and I think that this is officially the end of the bit.
Okay.
I think this bit is now dead.
Yep.
I was going to do a bit about like Star Wars, Garfield, you know, like you could go forever.
I thought you were just going to say we're retiring Garfield right now. Like Garfield's in our rear view now.
No, that's never going to happen.
I don't think it's ever going to go away.
All right, so the wolf
forever.
So if you're still here, let's talk about the Wolfman.
Yeah, let's talk. You three that are here. Hi. This is for you. This is for you guys.
You think only 3 people made it? I think 5.
5? That's pretty good.
They were listening and then they heard the word Gart. And they were like,
yep. They like turned it off.
I'm out.
They actually just like took.
I'm not here for Garfield.
They took their headphones off and like set a timer for 3 minutes and then brought it back.
Yeah, because I did give us that restraint. And shoot, we went 5 minutes.
Probably way past our time limit.
I just need everyone to understand how much I love Garfield, and that's the end. Okay,
it's good. It's great.
So the Wolfman from 2010 is a remake of the 1941 film The Wolfman. Now, I have never seen the original The Wolfman, but you have.
I have,
correct?
Indeed.
And you have actually seen this Wolfman before too, right?
Yes, I've
seen
seen
give your history.
Yeah, I've seen both iterations of it. I actually it wasn't until like recent years that I got really into like the classic Universal horror monsters and stuff. So it's like Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, the Wolfman, that's Frankenstein. Oh right, yeah, the man who I have tattooed on my body, Frankenstein. Love that green man.
It's crazy that they took that to Jesus.
They what? Sorry, what? They did what now? Now finish your food. What?
You know, an angel came to the wise men and said,
I brought you myrrh and I brought you Frankenstein. I feel like they could make a really good like horror cover band. It's like Frankenstein and myrrh.
Oh my God, that's so good. And all of them are like religious songs.
Yeah, exactly.
But like changed.
Yeah, they took religious like hymns and stuff and made them like horror spookiness.
Okay, if my brain was working a little bit better, I would totally yes and this.
I have you know more religious songs than I do. I got nothing. My spirit is a vampire. That's all.
No, that's something.
Is that something?
Do you want to keep going?
No, I got nothing.
That's not
anyway. So yeah, it wasn't until recent years I got really into like the classic Universal horror monster. So I actually did see this 2010 version of the Wolfman before I even saw the original one.
Yeah, you did.
So I saw it forever ago. Then at some point I watched the Wolfman from 1941. Then I actually watched the Wolfman 2010 again and still liked it. So we were coming into this and I was a little bit worried because I'm like, okay, it's rated low enough to be on this podcast. Is it still going to be good? Because I'm a little bit nervous. Because I hate like bringing it into this like critical lens and be like, okay, let's tear into a movie that I did enjoy at one point.
Yeah,
and it's been long enough that I'm like, I don't know, it might suck now, and I feel bad about that.
And this movie was rated 33.
33
on Rotten Tomatoes. But guess what?
Is that the critics or the audience, Derek?
It's both.
It's both?
For a first time ever on this. Well, I shouldn't say that. I just can't remember.
No, I'm fairly certain it's the only time this has happened.
33% for the critics and 33% for the audience.
They are right in line with each other. They shook hands, kissed a little bit, and said, the Wolfman, that's a 33%.
Like that scene in Napoleon when Garfield got up on the stepladder and kissed the mummy.
Yep, because he's so small.
He's a whittle. Listen, short kings rise up. You know what I mean?
Short kings.
As a 6 foot tall man.
Yeah, I was going to say, as 2 6-foot men. Isn't it weird that we're both the same height? That's strange.
It's not true.
It doesn't make sense.
You know why it's not true? Because I slouch too much.
Oh, you're right.
I gotta fix that. There you go.
And I'll slouch even more.
I slouched.
You can't see that if you're listening to this, but we're slouching. Or he's super, super like good posture right now, and I'm super slouchy. You can hear it in my voice.
I mean, I would argue your voice does change when you slouch. That's like when I was taking that voice acting course.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. It was like stand up, use good posture, and maybe that's why I quit. No, I'm just kidding. I finished that.
Stand up, you have good posture. I love Mondays.
Joe Zeiges.
But yeah, so 33 for the critics and for the audience score, right?
Yes, and Letterboxd is sitting at 2.7, and IMDb is about a 5.8. So I would say okay, so in my brain, I got like these sliders. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I've got like these 33% and 33%
figures all around you, like you're Iron Man in the Marvel movies. He's like moving all these screens in front of him.
It's both Benedict Cumberbatch, so it makes sense.
Iron Man is not Benedict Cumberbatch.
He is. Have you ever heard him? He's like, I'm Iron Man.
Is that what Benedict Cumberbatch's like? Hello, it's me. I am Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Wah, 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 wah. Dun, dun, dun.
What are you drinking today, Isaac?
What am I drinking today? It's a Celsius again, same as last week.
I finished mine.
It's mostly just because I need some energy. It takes a village of electrolytes and essential energy and accelerated metabolism and burns body fat.
We really got to get sponsored by Celsius.
I know, Celsius. If you're on the line, I'm waiting. I've been waiting. Please come back to me. And what are you drinking this week?
Celsius. Well, I just took a drink of water, but. I don't know.
Liar!
I don't know why I like that bit. I like the what are you drinking?
What are you drinking this week?
It's like a good breath.
I feel like I should like drink more interesting things.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we should. Maybe that becomes a thing.
Yeah, we'll start bringing cool beverages.
In 10 episodes, we're going to look back and we're like, when was the first time we said,
what was the first time? And then we became the Garfield Beverage Podcast, where we review drinks that Garfield has had throughout his many years and iterations.
Oh my God.
You think Garfield has ever had a Celsius in his life?
Has Garfield?
You think Garfield could survive if we gave him a Celsius?
Drinking's not a real word.
Him? It's like if you go way back to olden days and you gave someone a Doritos flavor blasted chip, would it kill them?
In January, I wasn't listening. What did you say?
Well, if you gave a pilgrim a Dorito, would it kill them?
Yeah, it would actually. 100%. Things have changed.
I would love to see it play out where you go back in time. And you give, this is a very evil thing to do, though, because you're anticipating this killing a person. You're like, here, eat this Doritos Locos chip. It's going to be so crazy. And then they eat it, and they're like, oh, it's good.
Oh, it's good.
And you're like, so you're not going to
die? Or
how do you feel?
You good?
I'm fine.
What is this voice you're doing?
I don't know.
How do you think our ancestors, my ancestors, I don't know, what are your ancestors?
Yeah, it's hi toy.
What the fuck? I'm Irish. You're not Irish.
No, unfortunately not. But anyway, who said it was my descendant? I'm not going to kill my descendant because then in the timeline that I'm going to die.
Oh, that's true.
So I was going to your.
Oh my God!
Oh God!
I got Thanos.
He got Thanos.
Hey, so I found this. I found this Reddit post from a year ago. It's on R. Garfield by Zoriez. Has Garfield ever drank beer or any sort of alcohol? And if he did, would he like it?
I
think he would drink beer and eat lasagna every night.
It's like, has Garfield ever had any lasagna or any beer? And it's like, with 16 question marks.
He needs to know. This person is desperately seeking the answer. But the Redditor Trickst Trekker
what did they say?
Answered, the 1st of January 1979 strip shows Garfield trying to drink some champagne. So we have to drink champagne.
Okay.
The 27th of May 1979 strip shows Garfield toasting with some wine with John. It's actually for a date, but John got booted her out because the girl was allergic to cats.
Okay, good. I was about to say, are Garfield and John on a date?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think Odie's going to like that very much. We've established that Odie is Garfield's wife.
And Zoriaz very well pointed out that he was incorrect. Garfield doesn't drink beer. He only drinks the finest wines and champagnes.
Yeah, exactly. He's not a beer guy. He's a classy cat who drinks champagne and wine.
According to account 3346 says, no, he would never. Garfield is a sweet kitty and he doesn't drink a beer.
I love the people who get on the internet to do things like that, to really defend this fictional character they love so much.
I would.
Like, no, Garfield would never. Not my good, never sully the good name of Garfield. Where I will find you. I will find your IP address. I will drive to your house, and I will drown you in beer, so you know the horror, the pain.
I legitimately need to know. If you're listening right now, please, for the love of God, tell me if you hate Garfield content, because I can't stop. I want to. I desperately want to, but it's an addiction.
We're stuck here,
I cannot
guys.
stop talking.
We need you to
I need
sympathize
one
with
hate
us here.
comment.
We're addicts.
We got a hate comment the other day.
We did.
Like, for real.
It means we're the real deal now.
I have joked for years about how I will have made it if I get a hate comment.
Exactly, right. And we also got a rather nice comment, too, from Buff Shaggy.
Buff Shaggy commented on our YouTube. We went through an updated YouTube. And we have a YouTube and a TikTok that are moving and shaking now.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Our YouTube's got like a lot of stuff on there now. TikTok will soon enough. We
going.
Gave in. We listened to the youngsters of the world, and we know that TikTok is the place to put your stuff.
TikTok's the place to have your cat and eat it too.
Don't eat Garfield.
Don't eat Garfield,
please.
Eat normal. But yeah, we got a hate comment, and it, like, at first I read it and I was like, oh, this sucks. Like, I feel crappy. And then I was like,
I thought it was funny immediately.
Well, we have different outlooks on life. And and then afterwards I was like, oh, okay, wait, no, this is good.
That's it.
Any publicity is good publicity.
Exactly, right?
Me.
Somebody has listened enough to be like, I'm going to give these people attention by hating on them, right?
So if
like, we got to you. You're the fool.
If you're the kid who's making all those weird Five Nights at Freddy's videos and you're the one who hated us, I love you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we want the best for you.
I genuinely love you. I hope that you're listening right now.
Stay in school. Keep at it with the Five Nights at Freddy's. You'll get there someday. Those 3 subscribers they love you. They're there all the time.
Hey, wait, I wasn't trying to attack him. I was trying to, like, be uplifting.
No, I'm uplifting.
Yeah, I think he's great. I think he's cool. Anyway,
we got hate commented, and it was kind of funny. But
I liked it.
But
yeah, then Buff Shaggy commented on our
and uplifted our spirits.
And I hope you kept listening, Buff Shaggy, because that comment was genuinely the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Honestly, though,
it was like on our YouTube. What episode was that?
It was the Scooby-Doo one.
I just can't remember what it was called.
Oh man, what the hell did we talk about in Scooby-Doo?
I don't know.
Something about Shaggy. I don't know. What did we talk about in that one?
I don't remember.
You keep going. I'll find it. Don't worry.
It was cool to see, like, genuine, like, enjoyment of our content. So please give us feedback if you like what we're doing.
It was Up with Mondays, Up with Nerds.
Oh, right. It was the first episode we talked about the boy.
The specialist of episodes. No,
incredible.
Nothing.
No, I'm just happy. I'm just smiling. So this movie had a budget of $150 million. But let me tell you something. This movie lost $8 million. It only made back $142 million.
Oh,
it's rough, man.
I hate to see it. It's very sad.
Brutal.
It's sad.
It's brutal.
It makes
it's terrible.
Sad. It depresses me. Honestly, it does.
Does it?
Yeah.
So how close was this movie to the original?
How close was it to the original?
Yeah.
It was, and then it wasn't, and then it was. It has a very interesting way of, like, taking things from, like, we'll call it the source material of the 1941 rendition of the movie. It takes things from that and kind of sprinkles them throughout and, like, rearranges them. So there are a lot of things that are, like, exactly the same, but they're told in different ways. So, like, fairly similar, honestly.
Okay. Because, it wasn't like The Omen, right, where it was a direct, like, they just took the script and flipped it.
Shot for shot, same deal.
Okay. So this movie came out.
Uh-huh.
I expected it to have a day. I wrote down a day and it wasn't there.
Oh, dang.
Dang it. It always has a day. January 27th, 2010. When it was released, it was actually delayed multiple times, so it was finally released on that day.
Yeah, I think the movie was actually shot in 2008 and didn't even release until 2010.
There was grossed $9.9 million on its first day, $31 million its opening weekend, and it only came in second in the box office after the movie Valentine's Day. The Wolfman grossed $62 million domestically and $80 million internationally, grossing 142 million worldwide.
Still not enough, though. Still losing that money, though.
Yep. And the Los Angeles Times immediately added it to their list of costliest box office flops of all time. It's $150 million lost.
That's a lot of money to be losing, honestly.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. They actually had planned a reboot and a sequel, but it never happened.
Oh man,
I don't know.
That always, like, depresses me about how, like, when Universal's planning to do like a dark universe where they were going to redo all of the classic monsters and stuff.
I forgot about
They even
that.
had people cast in the roles too, like it was going to happen. And then Tom Cruise did that shitty Mummy movie.
Oh god,
and then
I forgot about that
canceled
movie.
the whole thing because that was the start of it, right?
That's right.
So the Mummy was going to be the first of many, and then it was so bad that they're like, you know what? Never mind. We've thought about it. We're not into this idea anymore. Nobody even likes monsters anymore.
Who likes
me.
monsters?
I love them very much. I do.
Personally, me. You know, after seeing Godzilla, though, I feel like monsters are coming back.
Monsters are on the way back.
Like,
but the thing is, like, that's specifically like the kaiju genre, where it's like they're gigantic monsters. We got to bring like the civilian-sized monsters back too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kaijus are back in a big way.
It's all a matter of perspective. If you're looking at Godzilla from Antarctica, he's going to look like a civilian.
If you're looking, you're standing on the edge.
If you are standing on the edge of our Antarctica,
and
you're looking, and you look way over into Tokyo, you see Dracula. I mean,
got great eyesight, man.
You see Godzilla. Yeah, he's going to look like a human.
Yeah. You maybe like you're looking at you're squishing him with your finger, like, oh, you look like an ant from here, and then it just goes, boom, and it gets you with his heat ray from all the way from Tokyo to Antarctica.
That heat ray was dope.
Heat ray is pretty sick, guys. Go watch Godzilla -1.
I do not joke with you when I say that is currently #1 for my movie.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
I did not expect that.
Sorry, we're talking so much about our current like what we've been watching this week.
It's kind of fun. I like this little.
We watched a lot of movies over
podcast.
like the course of the weekend, but yeah, we checked out a lot. And Godzilla -1, fantastic, phenomenal film.
But you know what movie really stood out?
What stood out?
The Wolfman.
Okay, goodness me. What do you have me wait in anticipation?
I just knocked a poster off.
I know you keep knocking this thing off the wall. It's never safe.
Real quick
you're
before
around.
we continue, this was drawn by Isaac's sister Lexi.
Oh yeah, my sister Drew made me a painting of a forlorn-looking frog with a bunch of ghosts around it. It's very fun.
It's very cool.
To my sister.
But we also received something else.
Yeah, what's that behind you, Derek, on the wall? Well, I'll tell the fans that you're gonna knock it off. Please don't. I was randomly, very graciously gifted actual screen-used pages from the Necronomicon from the show Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
It's
got
cool.
a little certificate of authenticity and everything. So yeah, thank you to my good friend Logan for gifting me that. He was just like, "Hey, do you want this?" And I was like, "I'm not worthy of what? Thank you so much."
So cool.
Now it's up on the wall for all of for us to see in our little TikTok shorts and everything that we make out of whatever we're doing right here.
So you'll see it.
Yeah,
that's end of sentence.
Anyways, so yes,
it's just like super cool. It's right above my head.
Thank you, but yeah, thank you for the support, because he was immediately like, it wasn't just like, oh, Isaac, you like spooky things. He was like, yeah, you can put this on your wall for your podcast. Like, he knows
super
about
cool.
it. So thank you for the support. Absolutely.
It's not something I could ever ask for. Like, you don't like. We don't need things.
No, exactly. Right.
Like all I want from people is just to listen to us bullshit.
That's literally like your donation to us always is your time that you spend listening to this podcast,
and like receiving something like that is just
struggle to get through the Garfield shit and make it actually to talking about the movie.
Do you think Garfield goes to the bathroom?
Sometimes. Do you think he uses the? There's no way Garfield uses like a litter box, right? Like I cannot imagine, because he drinks champagne and wine. There's no way Garfield is like, I'm going to use this little sandbox for my poopies. No way. No, man uses a toilet. He probably sits on it with like a newspaper and everything like a real adult. Please tell me I'm right.
Oh God, I found him using the toilet.
Oh
yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, he uses the toilet like a real big boy.
Good, as you should. I expect that. That's what I expect from him.
I want this. There's a picture I found of John getting mad at Garfield for using too much toilet paper.
Yeah.
And it says the bathroom is sacred, sir.
It says secured, sir.
Oh.
But it is also sacred. The bathroom is a sacred place where Garfield goes to do his business.
Later, the Garfield Show official YouTube page posted an hour-long video called Garfield Takes a Bath. I will be watching that later.
An HD compilation. Yeah, we'll be checking that out later. We'll give you a review on that next week. Don't even worry about it.
Real quick, what were your expectations for this movie?
Like my general expectation?
Yeah,
let's get into that. I was nervous. I was nervous that it wouldn't be as good as I remembered it. Because again, I didn't love the movie in the past, but I remember thinking that was a pretty good movie. I didn't dislike it for sure.
Yeah,
so I was nervous that we were going to watch this and I was going to be like, yeah, this movie ain't great, guys. How about you? What were you feeling generally?
I was hesitantly excited. That's where I put it. Like, watching the trailer, I was like, okay, these effects look cool. I think I'm here.
Can I just say, the trailer that we watched was so misleading for the vibe of this movie.
Yeah.
Because it really makes it, like, the music was really campy and strange, and the way it was cut made it seem much more comedic and so unserious.
Yeah, it did.
So whoever was in charge of editing the trailer for this did a bad job. Because then when we actually got into the movie, it was a very different vibe, which I was happy about.
It was.
But it was... Yeah, so my first expectation was a pretty great Wolfman suit, which again I already know is going to happen because I'd seen the movie before, but also it was Rick Baker who did the werewolf effects for this movie, who also did the werewolf effects, if you haven't heard us talk about it enough, he did them for An American Werewolf in London. And so like we're talking like no he didn't. Don't sully the man's name. But he's done fantastic effects in prosthetics and stuff like that, specifically for werewolves, and like the OG great werewolf in the American Werewolf in London.
Do you think there's been an episode where I haven't mentioned An American Werewolf in Paris?
Not if I ever talk about An American Werewolf in London. You've always got to shit on its good name.
I think I've talked about it in every single episode.
Do that. Let's go back to every episode and see. Let's search and see whenever we talk about American Werewolf in Paris.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's going to take a while.
Yeah, it's a lot of episodes.
My first expectation was pretty close to yours. Some incredible Rick Baker effects.
Yeah, very, very good stuff. I said this movie, it feels like it's going to be hard to take seriously. And again, I blame that almost entirely on that trailer that we had watched because the tone of that was not what I was expecting, not what I was remembering.
Some gory kills. Ooh, my next one. Mm-hmm. I knew it was rated R. Oh, and I guess we should mention we watched the unrated cut,
which apparently adds like 17 minutes of good gore. Which like I couldn't honestly remember if I had watched the unrated one before we had watched it when we did it for the podcast. So who knows what version I saw. But then my next expectation was the top actors in the movie will do their best to uplift this movie, but it may be out of their claws, if you know what I mean. They're going to try. And sometimes an actor really just cannot help a movie that has got like bad script writing, bad directing, sometimes because you've seen it happen, right? You see these like actors. It's like, I mean, like we talked about, what was it? Liam Neeson in The Haunting, right? Where it's like he just came from Schindler's List and he's coming in to do this movie, right? And it's a very different feel for him. So sometimes, actors, they get in a bad one, there's not really any saving it.
For sure. My next one was inconsistent movie tones from like horror to camp. And that was again based on the trailer. Like I really
to blame on the trailer.
I couldn't tell. Also, the music in the trailer was really confusing too. Yeah, I just didn't know what was going on.
Wasn't the vibe. I said a bit of a forced romance because I knew Emily Blunt was in it and then Benicio del Toro, and I'm like, they're gonna find a way to like shove the two of them together, and it won't need to happen or benefit the story much at all.
No, yeah. Benicio. He's what, for Puerto Rico? Is that what you're from?
Yeah, I think he's Puerto Rican.
So it's definitely not the way I said it. Benicio del Toro will be really underwhelming.
Okay. Man, you write that right out the gate, huh?
I did. That was the first thing I thought.
Derek has a vendetta against the man because people love him and he doesn't understand why.
I think he's just fine.
Yeah.
He just always has bags under his eye. Anyway, we'll talk about it later.
He always looks like a man who is like werewolf possessed all the time. Which makes sense why he would be cast in this movie, right? He just looks like a man who is hiding this curse under the skin,
Maybe my issue with Benicio del Toro is my issue with my inner self, because I too...
This is deep. Let's go to therapy.
Okay. I too every day wake up having not rested enough. Mm-hmm. And I too look at the moon at night and go, I could be one with you.
And she's beautiful. Look at her power. Mm-hmm.
I'm Benicio del Toro.
He likes to mumble often because this is something Benicio del Toro will do as well, as Derek will tell you.
Hey, that was pretty good. Thanks for yes-anding me.
So then my last expectation is fun action sequences, because that is something I feel like I remember from the last time I watched it, was just like these sequences like pack a punch, and they are very fun to watch. And was that all your expectations?
No, my last expectation was too long. I knew that this movie was originally almost 2 hours, and the extended cut added 17 minutes. So I was like,
exactly how much is in there.
It's 2 hours long now, and I was just a little worried that was going to take it over the top. This movie had 4 wins and 8 total nominations.
Yeah, why did we talk about our expectations? You weren't even done yet.
I don't know.
We're all over the place.
It's okay. Listen, I got thrown off, man. I got thrown off.
Thrown off by Garfield. So yeah, what do we got?
Oh my God, now I'm going to have a dream where I'm standing on the edge of a cliff, begging Garfield not to kill me. And he's going to be standing there holding a spatula, dripping marinara sauce and cottage cheese because he was just digging out a lasagna. And he's going to be like,
this feels oddly grotesque
from me. And I'm going to look up and be like, you didn't like Nermal anyway. Please don't kill me, Garfield. And he's going to be like, you took everything from me.
Oh my God.
And then he's going to pull out the pan of lasagna that's empty.
Yeah.
And he's going to lick it clean.
And he's going to scoop you into it.
And then he's going to scoop me into it.
You're going to be the lasagna
And then
now.
he's going to stab me a bunch of times with the spatula. And then he's going to put me in the oven.
I don't know if I like Garfield anymore.
So this movie had 8 nominations and 4 wins.
God.
This won an Oscar.
What?
Our good boy, Rick Baker and Dave Elsey, who worked on the makeup and prosthetics for this movie, won the Oscar in 2011 for Best Achievement in Makeup.
Can you guess what the only other horror movie to win an effect for werewolf makeup is?
Garfield Return of the Microphone.
It's An American Werewolf in London. It is also Rick Baker. So no, London. It is An American Werewolf in London, and so Rick Baker is the only one to win an Oscar for makeup in like a werewolf movie twice.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it is a werewolf movie specifically twice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you gotta
It is specifically a werewolf in London movie twice.
That's true. And
because people just be dropping werewolves off in London.
But here's my thing
Werewolf
about
Orphanage.
it. It is so good.
Yeah.
But another point that I have to bring, a counterpoint, if you will, the like frame of reference for other werewolves isn't great.
No.
They're even the original Wolfman design isn't that great.
I know. I've got notes on the original Wolfman design. It's mostly just like a furry man who's got like kind of a dog-like face, but it doesn't have much of like a snout or anything like that, right?
He's just a guy who's furry.
Yeah, exactly.
He looks like the kid in Jumanji who turns into a wolf.
You're so right.
He looks like exactly like
the kid that turns like into a monkey.
Yeah,
that totally. Yeah,
he looks exactly.
That tracks.
I mean, I felt like in this movie, we'll go over it, but like I felt like the transformation into that wolf was like reminiscent of that werewolf, but good. Like it's like they took the original Wolfman design and said Rick Baker.
I know. I actually thought about that because I, like I said, like that. Those are my notes on the original Wolfman design. The Wolfman in this one is kind of similar to that, and I'm curious if that's like a direct homage to that, right?
They had
as that is,
and that might have played into why it got an award. So some of the other things it was nominated for: the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror gave this a nomination for Best Costume, Best Makeup, Best Production Design, Best Horror Thriller Film, and Best DVD Special Edition for the unrated director's cut.
A lot of bests for like a movie that is rated so low and was like considered a box office flop. That's kind of wild.
Honestly,
I was expecting a lot more like Stinker's Bad Movie Awards kind of stuff.
Well, but you know what's missing from these?
What's missing?
Like Best Acting and Best Direction and like seeing like this. All of the production value things about this movie were great because it won another thing.
I mean, that tracks though. Like, tell me what you felt about like the production value and like the sets and music and all
fantastic.
That kind of stuff.
Like it was great. And to go along with the music, Danny Elfman did the music for this movie.
Didn't know that. We didn't even realize that till like almost the end of the movie.
But we were complimenting the music the entire time. And then seeing his name, I was elated.
Yeah.
Which
is really nice because I feel like I sit here and I'm like, oh, I love Danny Elfman's music. His scores have always been great, you know? I'm glad that like without even knowing it was him, I can still say it was good. So it wasn't like a biased opinion.
I was with you there. And he won an award for the music at the BMI Film and TV Awards.
As he should. The music was a standout. It was really good.
He was also nominated for Soundtrack Composer of the Year. He was also nominated for Soundtrack Composer of the Year with Alice in Wonderland. He was nominated twice that year.
Oh, man. I forgot that Alice in Wonderland was released that year. That's crazy.
I forgot it was a movie. Woo. Scream Awards nominated Emily Blunt for Best Horror Actress.
Okay. Another best? What the hell?
Golden Schmoes Award gave this biggest disappointment of the year.
Okay, yeah. So there it is.
They're there.
Here we go.
Best Makeup and Hairstyling at the International Online Cinema Awards, and Gold Derby Award gave the award of makeup and hair to Rick Baker.
Of course, as they should.
So yeah,
man deserves it.
Just real quick, I'll go over who made this movie.
Yes,
we'll move on.
David Self was one of them.
Joe Johnson was the director. It was written by Andrew Kevin Walker, David Self, and then the original was written by Kirk Siodmak.
Interesting.
He actually also did The Invisible Man
Returns,
and he did Tales of Frankenstein, and he did other things.
Other things? A lot of things, it would appear.
Yeah, Bride of the Gorilla. That sounds exciting. Yeah.
That's kind of
I Walked with a Zombie, The Climax.
The Lady and the Monster.
The original Wolfman.
Invisible Agent. Wow.
There
are a lot of weird ones in here.
Yeah, that's strange. Mm-hmm. But anyway, he had great source material. We already know about David Self. We don't need to go over David Self.
We've talked about him.
We've made fun of his name enough. But Andrew Kevin Walker, recently, he wrote The Killer with David Fincher. He also wrote Seven. He also wrote Sleepy Hollow.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, so he's actually like a pretty well-known movie. Oh, man, he even did an 8mm and Tales from the Crypt.
Damn, okay.
So, yeah, he's got a lot.
Good stuff in this one.
Maybe he helped a lot with the script.
I should hope so.
Joe Johnson was the director. This is the one that gets me, though, because he directed The Rocketeer. I'm a big fan of that movie.
Oh, okay.
October Sky. I loved that movie growing up. But he also did Captain America, The First Avenger.
Wow, that's strange.
And Jurassic Park 3, which... And The Page Master, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Dang. That's crazy.
I read the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles as the Young Jesus Chronicles. I don't want to tell you how I felt about that.
Frankenstein and Myrrh.
Anyway, that's basically it. He's directing the next Chronicles of Narnia movie, The Silver Chair. I didn't know they were doing another.
I didn't either. Are we ready for the Rotten Tomatoes reviews?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So the critics' consensus for this one says, suitably grand and special effects laden, The Wolfman suffers from a suspense-deficient script and a surprising lack of genuine chills.
Dang. Again, I want to know who writes that.
Dang. I know. I want to know who's like the almighty. It's the tomato, probably. They have a Rotten Tomatoes building. It's the Rotten Tomatoes tower, and all the way at the top, at the big office at the top, there's a desk, and you spin you're like yes, sorry, boss, you wanted to see me, and the chair spins around, and it's just a giant tomato.
And every time you talk to him, you bring him the movie, you put it down on the table, and he hands you a small little green tomato.
Yeah.
And if you put it in your hand, it will change. It will either melt into a rotten tomato or become a perfect, fresh, delicious garden, juicy tomato.
But then he makes you eat it in front of him.
Yeah, that's
But he
true.
doesn't say anything. There are no
silent.
words. You were compelled
You are compelled to
It's almost
eat
as
the
if
tomato.
a voice is in your head and it says, eat the tomato.
That's
but
why-
he didn't say anything.
That's why people who make bad movies there are no bad movies.
That's
why people who make movies that are rotten on Rotten Tomato get real sad.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with the movie. It's just that they had to deal with the tomatoes staring at them as they ate the rotten tomato.
And I was going to say also, rotten or fresh, you still have to eat the tomato.
You still have to eat the
So if
tomato.
you got this goopy green slime in your hand, that's the rotten movie. You got to eat it.
But he is very nice. He gives you a little crostini with one piece of mozzarella cheese and a little balsamic drizzle. So like you can have a small caprese.
Yeah.
It just might be terrible.
Behind him on his wall, he's got a sign that's like, we have fun here.
It reminds me of in Seinfeld, George Costanza's boss, who's David Lynch.
David Byrne.
No, what's his
Larry
name?
David.
Larry David. But it's the tomato like from the back, and you just see like you see Steven Spielberg. Hey, I'm here with my new movie. But he walks in with like a little thing of wine.
Yeah.
And he puts it down on the table. He's like, I know what's gonna happen here.
Yeah.
He holds out his hand. And
Let's
he's
talk.
like, what? Rotten? What?
But this couldn't be.
But I brought this rosé doesn't pair with rotten tomatoes.
Doesn't pair with a rotten tomato? Of course not.
No, I can't eat this. All right.
But anyway, the tomato at the top is the one who writes the critics' consensus.
Yeah, he does. That's his day job.
Yeah, exactly.
His night job is to,
is to make people eat rotten tomatoes.
This is a horror movie. Can we do a horror movie short that's this?
There isn't like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah,
as a
it
movie.
is. But like, oh man, how do you think he felt about that movie?
He feels a bit it's tough with him because he's like, it's my job to properly and like without bias review these movies, but these are my people. How can I do this?
This is my tomato.
This is my tomato.
This is my tomato.
Tomato or not tomato? That is the question.
That is the marinara. Whether 'tis pasta in the mind. No, okay, I'm done.
So
Michael Compton.
Candace Frederick from Real Talk Online. No, do you want to go first? No, now he's laughing. I win. Candace Frederick with a positive review from Real Talk Online says, sure, it's more sinister and gory, ridiculously so at times, but Del Toro's acting is a standout. Which Derek died inside when I said those words.
Hello, Candace. Is this thing on? Candace, did you watch the same movie as me? Michael Compton from Bowling Green Daily News with a review score of B. Says this is a film that revels in its schlock and does so in a manner that is sure to please anyone looking for a bloody good time.
Okay. A rotten review from Keith Ulick from Time Out says, when the beast finally bursts forth, the character becomes, for the most part, a digitally augmented blur. There's no room for a performance underneath all the zeros and ones. Oof. Scary.
Annalie Newes from io9.com says all over the place and bland at the same time. So the reason I was giggling.
Yeah, why are you giggling? What's so funny?
You know what the word schlock means?
No.
Because I didn't either. I was like, I think I've said this word. Cheap or inferior goods or material trash.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like when it's like schlocky. We've said that before.
Did you know there was a horror comedy from 1973 called Schlock?
Well, tell me about this.
Look at my screen.
Oh my God.
This is Isaac's worst nightmare. Let me just, no one can see this but me, but maybe go Google the movie Schlock real quick.
It's scary.
The gorilla suit in this is like the gorilla suit they sell at every Spirit Halloween, and it's just a guy in it, and you can see his eyes, and he's just chilling.
I think that's
the
worst part about like the gorilla suits is when you can just see the human eyes behind it. That's what's scary. It's like when you meet a dog and it's like for instance, everybody's been here. You're spending the night at your friend Matt's house, right?
Yeah.
You're spending the night. He's got a dog. The dog's always kind of spooked you a little bit.
It scared you a little bit.
And so he went to sleep he went to sleep in his bedroom, because he likes that place. It's fine. It's his comfy space. I'm like, I'll sleep out here on the couch. Don't even worry about that.
Don't worry about it.
It's like 1 a.m. You're trying to sleep on the couch. It's just you, and then the dog is right in front of you.
Yeah.
You're like laying on your side. You open your eyes. The dog is staring at you, and it's like you've never felt more fear in your heart staring at this dog with its very human eyeballs staring at you, and you're like, this dog is about to start speaking English to me, and I'm gonna freak the hell out.
Yeah,
it happens. It's scary. So we've all feel that. No, that didn't happen.
I've been there. I've had a friend, Matt.
Yeah, we've all been in that exact same situation, I'm sure. Yeah. So when you guys were in that situation, imagine, put yourself there, but now it's like a gorilla suit man.
So I had a worse situation that was
worse than
almost
that. Did
identical.
the dog actually talk to you?
No, I was at my friend's house, very similar. His name was Clint.
We've all been here.
And I was
your friend Clint.
And I was sitting on a couch.
Call him, he misses you.
Hey, Clint, I don't know if you listen to this, probably not. We haven't talked in years. I was sleeping on the couch in a sleepover. I wake up in the middle of the night, and it wasn't the dog staring at me, it was his brother. And his brother was asleep, but his eyes were wide open.
I've always wondered if that was a real thing that could possibly happen. I've only ever seen it in movies and TV and stuff. Can people actually sleep with their eyes open?
Yeah, man.
Is that a real thing?
I mean, maybe. Let me ask Science Jim.
Science Jim could probably tell us a lot more about
probably.
that.
But that... it really scared me.
Yeah. So did you just have to go to bed with him staring at you?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. You just had to finish the night like that. And like every time you open your eyes, you're like, nope, he's still looking at me.
No, really though, that happened. It was terrifying.
Geez.
Hey guys, it's me, Science Jim. You may have noticed that Derek's voice transitioned into my voice. Yeah. Stop trying to talk in my voice.
I'm not. I'm really trying not to.
This guy over here, this Isaac, he's always trying to talk like me when I'm talking. I have a couple things to say now that I'm here, if that's okay.
Yeah, please take the floor. It's all yours.
First off, about 20 people.
Only 20 people.
20% of people talk with their mouth open. I mean,
only 20%. 80% of the world talks with their mouth closed. We're Science Jim. We have now established that Science Jim comes from a hellscape where 80% of the world is ventriloquists.
This is fucking stupid. I am tired. I live in hell. I live perpetually like this.
You live in a ventriloquist hell.
No, okay, I'm going to be serious now. 20% of people sleep with their eyes open.
There we go.
So I'm trying to control the puppet at the same time as talking as Science Jim. And
as talking as Science Jim and reading. It's a lot.
And so I was trying to say with eyes open, but the reason I said mouth open is because I was trying to make his mouth move with my words. So I just said mouth open. It was embarrassing.
There's a lot to juggle there. So people do. It's a real thing.
Yeah, 20% of people.
That's insane.
Logophthalmos. Nocturnal logophthalmos.
You mean Yorgos Lanthimos, right?
Yeah, the director. All right, maybe let's jump into this movie. What do you think?
Don't want to talk more about sleeping with your eyes open or anything, or talking with your mouth closed?
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to say about it?
No, I got nothing. We can start this movie now.
Do you want to?
Yeah. So.
Wait, I have one more thing.
Oh, he's got one more. Go ahead. Interrupt us some more, why don't you, Jim?
First, just because there are actually no vampires in this movie at all, I wanna real quick reference the beginning of the episode when you were talking about werewolves and vampires hating each other.
Oh, yeah.
The first example actually comes from Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, where Dracula fought the Wolfman in 1948.
Okay.
There was supposed to be a film in the vampire... Okay, Dracula versus the Wolfman. There was supposed to be that movie, but it never actually happened. There was also a one-on-one fight between a werewolf and a vampire woman in the 1971 film The Werewolf versus the Vampire Woman. That's a good sentence.
Right on the nose with that one. I was thinking about the werewolf versus the vampire woman, but that was the werewolf versus the vampire woman.
Some people say that the trope actually starts back with Tolkien, who his legendarium has both
J.R.R. variety.
Yeah, that guy. He has a legendarium, and it has both werewolves and vampires.
Okay.
And at least one vampire is hated by werewolves in that movie.
At least one.
At least one.
At least one.
My sources are great.
All right, Sanchin, we got to get into this movie. We have wasted so much time not talking about it.
I think you had a great time.
Yeah, we appreciate you. We love you. Safe travels back to
How did this movie start?
Back to your ventriloquist house. So, it begins with a poem from the original Wolfman etched into a headstone and is narrated by Emily Blunt, which says, do you want to I can do it if you want.
Even a man who is pure in heart, this is my Emily Blunt impression,
this is beautiful,
and says his prayers by night, may become a wolf when the wolfsbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright.
That's direct from the original Wolfman in 1941. It's wonderful.
It is.
We see a man hunting something in the woods at night. He's all alone, and then he gets got.
He comes
up to like this little gazebo thing, and he just gets slashed up real good in the face and the stomach.
It was pretty
already
brutal.
fairly gory. Gory.
It had a good correlation.
And so then we get there's a cool shot of like the Wolfman's claws. He stares down his victim, and then we get like a quick glance of the Wolfman's face as he lunges in to bite his victim.
Yep.
And it was kind of sad to see, like, we already got to see the Wolfman.
Yeah.
We see his face.
But kind of disappointing.
It was fast, though.
It was fast, but at the same time, I was like, oh, okay, well, now.
But we rushed through it, but it was kind of a fun opening, just seeing this man running away as he's being hunting, then gets hunted by the Wolfman. I thought it was pretty fun.
It was a good way to pull me in.
Yeah. So Benicio del Toro, whose name is Lawrence Talbot. His name is Lawrence. He's an actor, and he's not a very good one in this one? ?
Yeah, no, he sucked.
I wasn't understanding if he was a good actor in this world, or he wasn't very good. I'm not sure what they say.
Definitely intended for him to be a good actor because he was playing Hamlet, and it specifically made a point that he was doing it for a long time, and he was like a touring actor.
Yeah, he was like touring. He was a New York actor too. Like he was a big hotshot.
New York actor.
But so he's an actor, and so he puts on a not so great performance of Hamlet for a minute, and then he's back in his dressing room. And then Emily Blunt, whose name is Gwen, comes to his dressing room to ask about his missing brother, to whom she is engaged. Like that's his brother's wife, is who he's talking to.
Yep.
He's been missing for a month. She came in to ask for his help. And then she's like, I knew you didn't want to come because you have a bad relationship with your father. So it establishes this too, right? Lawrence he has an estranged dad, I guess.
Yeah.
The sets and colors are really working for me so far. They all feel very cohesive.
Me too.
Right? I actually really, really liked them.
I liked every set that we had seen up until this
super
point.
good. So like the set that they had for the actors on there, the set for backstage, the set in the streets where they're walking through, all of it, such great,
very believable,
such great atmosphere that I really, really love. They set this whole world that this story lives in really, really well. I wrote Benicio del Toro looks perpetually drunk, just always.
He has the biggest bags under his eyes. Like you could keep a large amount of change in those eyes.
Exactly.
Like he could buy donuts.
He weighs like 300 pounds, but he only weighs like actually 200 pounds, but 100 pounds is just the bags under his eyes.
Yeah.
They're that heavy.
50 pounds each eye.
So anyway, Lawrence decides to make the trip out to his old house in Blackmore, right? So he goes to Talbot Manor to go back to to look for his brother. Right now, they don't know where he's at. He's just missing right now, right? Yeah. On the train, I found out this is actually one of the deleted scenes that was added for the 17-minute cut that we got.
Oh, really?
He meets a peculiar man that wields the original Wolfman silver cane, which, if you're not familiar with the 1941 version of the film, Lawrence, the character, the main guy, goes into an antique shop and finds this beautiful-looking cane with a silver head that's got like the head of a wolf on it and a star, which is like also the sign of the beast. It's a symbol, right? So this peculiar man on a train just happens to have it. Only this time, it's got like a dagger on the inside of it, which is kind of neat.
It looked cool.
It was a cool thing, but like, it's just strange that this man is here. What I disliked about this is the fact that the old man just like happens to leave it behind, and now Lawrence has it for the rest of the movie, and it never actually becomes useful.
No.
In the whole movie, they never actually use this cane for much of anything. I'm like, I really love the homage to the 1941 movie. I think that's super cool, but it didn't really need to happen. I would have liked it personally if you'd seen this guy with the wolf cane, whatever, and then he just left. He just left with it. It's like, oh, that's nice. That's cool. Thanks for having me. So anyway, he seemed really suspicious. He acted like he was hiding something, but yeah, he just happens to leave it behind, so now Lawrence has it for the rest of the movie.
Did we ever see that guy again?
No, literally never. For the rest of the movie, he's gone. It is the only time that he has an appearance.
I mean, that's probably why there was a deleted scene.
He's like an uncredited cameo in it. Like he's like not even a character in the movie. It's wild.
What the heck?
But I wrote, I'm digging the music. The music is great. Really, really love it. And so now he's back home, and his house is in a really shitty state. It's all dusty and decrepit. But now we meet Anthony Hopkins, who is his dad, Sir John Talbot. He's his estranged father, right? And as soon as he's here, the movie gets elevated with Anthony Hopkins doing his stuff, right?
Actually, yeah. So up until this point, I was like, the acting in this is terrible. And then Anthony Hopkins got here, and I was snapping.
We were
with
here.
It.
We were hopping for Hopkins.
Oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, let this man eat feet.
What? Why? Why would you say? I'm going to move on from this horrific
because he's Hannibal. Because he's Hannibal.
Oh, my, yeah.
And let them eat cake. But the first adjective.
I wish it wasn't.
First limb I thought of was a foot.
It shows the differences, the worlds between Derek and Isaac.
We're worlds apart. Just
so
like
anyway,
Journey.
Anthony Hopkins, Sir John, tells him actually his brother's body was found a day earlier, so he is confirmed dead. So now it's instead of like, oh, help us look for your brother, it's like prepare for the funeral. But Lawrence is like, he's suspicious of the whole thing, so he goes to see the dead body of his brother, which I think was another scene that was added in the unrated cut, right?
Yep.
Because he goes to the morgue or whatever, goes and like pulls the tarp back from his body, and he looks real fucked up.
He looks bad.
Yeah, he was in real bad shape. He was like, his body was all slashed up, but it also looked like his skin clung to his skeleton, like he was like drained of blood. Like it was really, really cool.
It was really dope.
So anyway, after that, Lawrence is now in a pub. He's listening to a bunch of drunk older men tell tales of what they think happened to Ben. And then Ben was his brother, if I didn't mention his name. One particular man tells an ominous tale suggesting it was a real beast that tore up Ben, not just like a crazy man. Because right now they're all thinking there's some like serial killer on the loose, right? So he's talking about silver bullets and full moons. The other men laugh him off like, oh, you're crazy to think it was a werewolf. So within this world, they do know that like werewolves exist.
Yeah.
And so that's a fairly normal thing, but it is like an old wives' tale. It's a silly thing for them to be thinking about, right?
Which I actually did like. I don't like it in movies when they're like so far against it. Like everybody's like, nah, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Like it was a dog, which I mean does happen quite a lot in this movie.
Often,
becomes a
very
plot
much.
point. But at this point in the movie, I was like, okay, this is nice that these people aren't complete skeptics.
Yes, exactly. So like there are some people who like believe in the thing like, oh no, it's a werewolf. And some people are like, oh, come on, you're drunk. You're in your drink. Get over here. So then we're back at the Talbot residence. Lawrence found this gypsy medallion on his belongings. And so I did enjoy this because for a minute I was like, okay, in the original Wolfman, he goes to like a gypsy caravan area, right? Where they're all set, like a settlement, I guess I should say. And that's where he finds somebody who is like the original Wolfman. That's where he gets turned into the Wolfman himself. That's how all of this happens. But I wasn't getting any of that so far. So now it has a connection right here, right? So they're keeping it within the story, which I really like. The set design and the costuming are like the highlight of the movie. They are so good.
They're really, really good.
They're killing it.
It's
I
so
really
fun.
enjoyed it. We see a flashback of Lawrence and Ben as children. Young Lawrence comes upon his father holding the dead body of his mother, and there's a straight razor in her hand. So it's like, oh no, so she had like taken her life, right? And so like he found Anthony Hopkins who had found her like that, right? So
sad.
time for a funeral. We see Ben has been put down in the ground. I'm trying to find out what else to say about this. When he was a kid, Lawrence was sent to an asylum by his father.
Oh, yeah, that's
after,
important to mention.
So yeah, it's important to mention like he's got a really bad relationship with his father. After his mother died, he shipped him off to an asylum him, and then shipped him off to America to stay with his aunt. So that's how he became the actor in New York, right?
New York actor.
His father does recommend he stays inside for the night. It is the full moon. So like there are people like who are believing in the superstitions of it. He's like, at the very least, people are connecting that like people are dying on the nights of full moons. So probably a good idea to stay inside, right? Yeah,
for sure.
Lawrence goes to the gypsy settlement looking for like the connection and like why his brother had this medallion on him.
Yeah,
and then the townsfolk are coming into the camp to accuse them of their bear killing people.
This bear was so cute.
It was adorable.
It was just a little dancing bear.
Yeah.
Why? How could that little bear kill
so
anybody?
cute.
That's so stupid.
And it's so sad because like these people are coming up like, your bear is what's killing people, and the bear kind of like cowers back a little bit. It's like, no, I'm not a killer. I'm just a bear.
But then happens one of the best scenes in the movie.
Oh man, remember how one of my expectations was great action scenes? Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
The Wolfman
awesome.
shows up and he just starts fucking everything up.
Everything,
It is
man.
a ravenous rampage, gore galore. This wolf is attacking with so many people around.
Yes.
That's what was crazy to me, because usually in movies, like in like horror movies in general, right? Like you pick people off, you're sneaky about it, but this is a settlement with like at least 50 plus people, and he's just going to town. No
Really?
one can stop this blur of a creature. It is unfortunate though, the wolf is kind of just a blur of CGI, but like this action-packed sequence is very, very fun. I really did enjoy it.
Well, and whenever they showed people dying, like there's specifically a kill where the Wolfman like shoves its claw into a neck,
yeah,
and it's like what do you call it?
Its claws, its talons are
come out of its
through
mouth,
through the jaw up through the mouth. It was such a gnarly
it looked
kill.
really cool. So
Yeah.
like those moments, it did zoom in and it looked really cool.
Yeah, and it was like a lot of shocking kills. Like the first one you see, like this dude is talking to them like, your bear kill people, blah blah. And then he just like blood comes out of his mouth. Then he falls down and his back is like lacerated, all scratched
torn
up.
Yeah.
There's
That
a
was
lot
a
of
fun scene.
There's a lot of kills we could get into, but like it was just really fun kill sequence. I really, really enjoyed it. But then Lawrence sees a younger boy running off into a field nearby, and he's being pursued by the wolf. Right, so he's like, oh shit, I got to go save this man. Also, again, the atmosphere is just 10 out of 10 for me. Really, really loving it. So he goes to save the boy. He's cautiously awaiting this beast near some standing stones, which I didn't even know was a thing. Your wife Emily brought this up.
Well, hey, it's besides Jim. I'm just
Jim's
here.
back again.
I'm here. I was told by Emily to give a mythology PSA.
A mythology moment, if you will.
Per science accusation.
Okay.
Don't hang out in Druidic circles after dark. Okay?
Don't do it.
Don't do it. If you see standing stones, don't go in them. Okay?
It was funny because we were watching this with her, and she was like, why is he going near these standing stones? That's a terrible idea.
It was a terrible idea. Can I add one more thing just real quick?
Yeah, go.
So gypsies are often associated with like werewolves and vampires. Have you ever thought about that?
Yes, which I also want to say, I'm pretty sure like gypsy is not a great term to use in like
It's
2023.
terrible.
It's bad.
You shouldn't use it.
Yeah, no, we're only using it within the context of like the movie and like
please understand that is why we're
like
using
Romani folklore. We can call them
Yes.
Romani if that's better.
Actually, we probably should.
Yeah.
Because on the Stack Exchange Sci-Fi, there's actually a whole conversation about Romani people being involved in this stuff.
Yeah.
So it actually
does
seems
actually
like it
happen a
was
lot.
traced back to Bram Stoker.
Oh.
Because he gave Dracula Romani minions.
That's right. I forget about that
And
sometimes.
most
He had a
people
lot of them that were helping
actually
him.
attribute that to the anti-Romani prejudice that was very common at the time.
Makes sense.
So what ended up happening is all of their folklore started to get mixed in, all mixed and jumbled in with the vampires and then eventually werewolves.
So unfortunately, the Romani were always like the butt of the joke. They were always down at the, like low on the totem pole for people.
It's really
societally.
unfortunate how much of this is based on prejudice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
and you know, racism. You know, it's bad.
Yeah. Like I felt weird talking about that in his voice because it is a serious thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's sad that how much of that is built on prejudice. But I look at it now as kind of a cool thing, right?
I think it's wicked cool.
Awesome. Like
Yeah.
I think that a Romani camp turning me into a werewolf would be like
That's
an
kick
honor.
ass. I love that.
I would love that.
I would
happen.
love that very much.
Maybe I'll go hang out in a druidic circle after dark.
Or don't, because I hear that's a bad
Emily
thing
told
to
me
do.
not to,
That's a
but-
bad thing. If you don't know what like a standing stone circle
Stonehenge.
is, like, basically imagine Stonehenge without like any of the stones going like across the two pillars, just a bunch of stone pillars standing upwards is basically the gist of that one, right? So anyway, he's cautiously awaiting the beast near the standing stones, right? And then the beast jumps down on him from on top of one of the stones and just like tears into Lawrence's neck. And so, like, I thought he was done in, but then the townspeople come back and they're able, or no, I think actually the Romani people are there and they like shoo the beast away. So he's bit up, but he does survive it.
Yes.
So Maleva, who is a Romani woman, she sews him back up, and her and one of her companions are discussing like how saving him will end in the deaths of many people. But Maleva is like she's like, no, like we have to let destiny run its course or something like that. And then she does mention only true love can save him, which I wasn't understanding. Didn't like that plot point a lot. I don't understand why we're doing that.
Why does every movie have to have that? And it was at this point I remembered back to the couple episodes ago when we watched Cursed.
Yes, and we were talking about the different ways you can cure like lycanthropy, right?
And I think one of the ways we talked about was in this movie how you had to cure it with love.
Yeah, exactly. Which is just strange. I don't feel like it's that necessary. Like just kill them with the normal means. You know, I would like that a lot more
for sure.
But so they sew him back up, and he does end up surviving. So they send him back home. So now Lawrence is there, and he's healing up, but he is just like tortured in the night by these hallucinations. He keeps seeing this like Gollum-esque Wolfman at the foot of his bed.
It was gross.
It looks real nasty. Yeah. I did find out though that Rick Baker did not help out on the effects for that werewolf because he didn't like it.
Really?
It's really funny how much like we've covered a couple movies that Rick Baker has been a part of now, right? And it's funny how often he's like, I'm not going to do that because I think it's stupid.
Because I think you're dumb.
I don't like the way that it looks.
I love
so
that.
This is one of the things where he like didn't agree with this representation of a wolf man because it's basically literally like Gollum. Imagine some scrawny kid who's got a little more fur than a normal person would, and like some weird eyes and teeth.
It's what happened this is the world that Jumanji didn't resolve. And so the kid from Jumanji got all fucked up and came into this movie.
Yeah, that's he crossed the streams there. So, but anyway, so he's having a bad time in the night, haunted by these Wolfman visions, right? Yeah. Then there's a doctor who's here, and he's impressed by his rapid recovery. So he's already getting these Wolfman powers of like accelerated, regeneration and stuff like that, and like the Wolfman powers, the sense of smell. He gets all of these throughout the movie. So Gwen was only supposed to stay here for the funeral, but then she extends her stay because now she knows that whatever killed her husband Ben is still out here because clearly it attacked Lawrence, right? So now she's sticking around. So I'm like, of course they're gonna push this romance on us. It's gonna happen. Which again, I really disliked because I'm like, hold on, you're gonna make these two fall in love at some point. This is his brother's wife his brother just died. Like, yeah. And not a lot of time passes.
It's pretty messed up.
Like, this movie probably only spans the time of like maybe a week after his brother dies. Yeah. So like, it's kind of fucked up.
And I should mention, we're about 40 minutes into the movie at this point.
Yeah, pretty deep.
We're pretty deep. I just thought that was interesting. Like, so little has happened. Mm-hmm. We were able to surmise it so quickly.
Yes.
And yet it was 40 minutes of movie.
Yeah, lots been going on. But now Hugo Weaving, who is Inspector Francis Aberline, shows up from Scotland Yard. He wants to speak to Lawrence about his experiences, right? So they speak about the night of the attack, and then Aberline wants Lawrence to be checked out by a specialist because he starts talking about like, he's kind of implying that he might be a madman going into his history about like how when he was a kid, he was at an asylum. And so he's like, he knows he's an actor. So like he may have many personalities hiding behind that face of his, like he's really kind of like really skeptical of the whole Wolfman angle,
sure.
right? He's like, I don't think you were attacked by a beast. I think you're probably kind of crazy. So yeah, Hugo Weaving's little Aberline character comes in. He's kind of a little stinker
He's a little stinker boy. He's definitely not Elrond.
Definitely not Elrond from the good old Lord of the Rings.
Or
the Matrix.
Name? Not Mr. Anderson.
Orpheus.
No, shut up. Okay, we're moving on.
So Lawrence and Gwen are starting their inevitable romance as they skip rocks on the lake, and it's so romantic. But then as they're doing that, the whole town shows up to arrest Lawrence because he was bitten by the beast, and that
Smith.
That was the night of a full moon. That was his name. Yeah. Mr. Anderson. No, it's Smith.
Yeah, that was his name.
That's a boring name.
That's not a boring name. It's a great name.
There's nothing to that.
Whatever, man. Maybe if you saw The Matrix, you would think it's cool. I'm outing Isaac right now. He's never seen The Matrix.
I think we've talked about the fact that I haven't watched The Matrix.
I don't know, it just makes me mad.
So anyway, it's strange to me that like now the whole town is here. They're here to arrest him because they know he was attacked that night because some of them were there.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, he got bit by the beast. He survived it. Now they're like, okay, you're cursed. You're the werewolf. It's the night of the full moon. We need to take you in. So like, hold on. They were all skeptic of the whole situation. Now all of them are like, no, he's definitely, no, I said that, right? No, you told me he was a wolf, right?
Yeah.
Me and John were talking, and we were saying, like, from the beginning, it was like the whole time, totally a wolf, right? Like, he's like super hairy and stuff, and he's always like really like quick to anger, right? Like so angry all the time, like,
why did I go to Phil?
Remember that one time, John, that he like you like cut in front of him in line, he growled at you, and
that was crazy.
That guy's a wolf.
Oh, he's totally a wolf. Oh, he's totally a wolf. And then that one time that I was like eating dog food, and he like shoved me out of the way.
Yeah, he got like real offended.
I was like, what?
He's like, yeah, like my culture is not your food. Like, I don't know what that meant. I didn't understand that, but like, whatever.
What does that mean? My culture is not your food. Wait.
Anyway.
That's sad.
That's very sad.
That's like the most fucked up thing you've ever said.
So, anyway, all the townspeople here, they're suddenly real on board for the werewolf thing, which is kind of funny. But then Anthony Hopkins as Sir John sends them off by firing a warning shot at them and roasting them pretty hard.
He roasted them super hard.
He's a real funny guy. It was actually at this point that I'm like really like it. I wrote Go Anthony Hopkins. Yeah. I'm super into his
I don't remember how
he
roasted them at all.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
Yeah, no, he was I wish I remember what he said, but I remember him talking about how he shot them and he was like oh, I'm a real poor shot, but my assistant, Mr. Singh, is that what he called him?
Yeah.
Singh, yeah. He's up on the roof, he's a much better shot. And you don't actually see him up there, and it's later he's like, oh yeah, Noah, you're not the only actor in the family, I lied.
Yeah,
he's funny. I really liked him.
He's great.
So then there's more romance as Gwen is cleaning up Lawrence's wounds, but then he starts looking at her like she's food. He's sitting there licking his lips like, oh god, and he's focusing like on her heartbeat. He can hear the blood running in her veins, so he excuses himself before he gives into these dark urges. He like doesn't kill her right now. Yeah. And then actually it fast forwards to night when Lawrence tells Gwen she needs to leave immediately. He's like, this isn't a safe place for you, and sure enough, she actually listens. She does leave and goes back to wherever London, right? It's where she's at. Yeah, because they're in Blackmore, which I actually don't know where that is in comparison to London.
Neither.
Far enough for him to be able to walk there later, but that's a different story. So anyway, he tells her to leave, and she does. So now the whole town is arming to protect themselves from a wolfman. They're setting bait during the night and traps. They're melting silver spoons into bullets, boarding up their houses, preaching warnings of werewolves at church. Like, they're really whole hog. Like, yes, there's a wolfman in our town. It's going to happen. So then Lawrence stalks his father as he mysteriously walks out into the night by lamplight. Like, what is he doing?
Hey,
what's up? Yeah?
Remember how you said he walks from London to Blackmore?
Yeah.
That's a 10-hour walk.
Whoa. Yeah,
That's an hour by drive.
I felt like it was going to be kind of a far walk, but it does happen later on in this movie, right?
Well,
it does.
He probably hitchhikes. Or rides a bike.
Does
if you ride a bike, it takes 2 hours and
as
27
a wolf
minutes.
man?
Someone explained to me how you walk 10 hours.
It's
25.7 miles. Well,
but I mean,
he probably did a jog. He probably did a little run.
But you know how there's the speed walk option sometimes. If you walk at a brisk pace, you can cut down that time. If you walk at like a wolfman pace, then it's a little bit faster. You get that little werewolf trot going on. Then I think you could probably cut that down by at least 6 hours.
Here's the thing: it's actually just like marathon distance because a marathon is 26 miles.
Oh, okay.
So 26 miles, maybe? Yeah, you can do it in 2 hours.
I'd like to see a picture of the Wolfman crossing the finish line of a marathon. He's like, oh, yeah, I did it. Just spraying champagne on it. Garfield brought his champagne. He's spraying him with it.
Someone forgot they actually put holy water in there. They brought the sacramental wine. It burns!
But he's okay because he's no. Someone brought that intentionally because another stab to vampires because vampires couldn't handle that. The Wolfman can. Right. He's fine. He's like, cover me in that holy water. Love it. Take that, vampire.
I'm going to write a parody of the Candyman from Willy Wonka.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The Candyman.
Yeah.
The Wolfman can. Can you take a holy water?
Can he take the holy water?
Put it in his mouth.
Put it in his mouth.
Wrap it up with silver and a little bit of dough. The Wolfman.
You lost me.
This is nothing. So, keep going.
Anyway, Lawrence's father, Sir John, he mysteriously goes out into the night, right? So he follows him, and he follows him to the crypt of his dead mother, and she has a gorgeous stone casket in the middle of this mausoleum. It's gorgeous. You see, her body's etched in stone, and she's got this fabric billowing around her. It's a gorgeous set. I really, really enjoyed the way it looked. But then he goes deeper into, and he finds this mausoleum, right? He goes down this stone staircase and finds this really creepy candlelit room with a chair that's meant to chain somebody up, it's meant to shackle them to the chair. And in front of the chair is a shrine to his mother. And then Sir John shows up. He's like, "Oh yeah, no, it's a shrine to your mother. I always loved her. You know that, right?" And he's acting super suspicious. And then he ushers him out of the room and then locks himself into the room. And as he backs away from the gate, his eyes shimmer that
this is
yellow
one of the
glow.
Coolest shots in the entire movie.
Yeah. So his dad is definitely a werewolf.
Oh,
right?
100% a werewolf. I liked that.
I dug it a lot.
I did not see this plot twist coming. And actually, it wasn't until sitting on this couch talking about the Romani camp where everyone was getting attacked that I realized there was another werewolf at that point.
Yes.
I don't know why in my brain I was like, oh, this is fine that there's another werewolf. But now I'm thinking back and I'm like, oh, wait, it was right there in front of me. Because that was obviously his dad.
And that's a big thing about the Wolfman lore or werewolves in general, right? It's there's the wolf that turned you. And it's if you killed that werewolf, you can get turned back or something, killed like the first wolf, blah blah, all that kind of stuff, right? So like there had to be some other wolf. Who's it going to be? Of course it's his dad. It always was this whole time.
Always was Papa.
Always has been Papa.
Mikasa is su Papa.
So anyway, he locks himself away as we finally get the transformation scene as he goes, shut up. Mi Papa su werewolf.
Mi Papa is su werewolf.
Can you say werewolf in Spanish?
Probably.
Is that a thing?
It's probably like Luna wolf.
Hang on, I'm going to Google this.
You're struggling. Do you want me to Google it?
No, I got it. I can do it. I'm so good at this.
I've started saying Mikasa is su Papa a lot, and I think it's hombre lobo.
It's literally wolf and man. Hombre lobo.
Hombre lobo. Mikasa es su hombre lobo.
Mi hombre lobo es su hombre lobo.
Mi hombre lobo es su Papa lobo.
My dad is probably so mad at the way we're pronouncing all of this.
That's fine. That's okay.
So anyway, we get the transformation scene, and it's not so bad. It's definitely shot pretty well, where they don't show you every part of it. Because I think the problem that I had with the transformation that we saw in Cursed was they kept the camera right on them.
Yeah.
You saw every flaw and mistake in that awful CGI that they showed in the transformation, right? But this one, you get a shot of like his foot as it stretches into like the what am I trying to say? Like where the ankles go backwards, like that kind of weird transfiguration.
I don't think there's a word for that.
I don't think there is either.
It's just like bad foot.
Like imagine a goat leg, right? Where it bends the wrong way. Anyway, it shows his foot as it stretches into that, and then like you get a shot of like his mouth and his jaws. It extends his claws. I really like the way the claws happen because it's like the talons come from underneath the fingernails.
It looked so cool.
They like bleed as they come out because like the transformation of like turning into a werewolf has to be super painful. Right?
100%.
Like your body is changed. Like your bones are breaking.
I think that's why the American Werewolf in London one still to this day is the best transformation scene. If you haven't seen that, please go watch it.
You can just Google that one bit. It's fantastic.
It's also very hard to watch, so good luck.
Yeah, it's rough.
But the reason it's so good is because you hear that pain and you feel that pain. This one was good. I did enjoy this one, but I was like, okay, he's just like every sound that freaking Del Toro man made.
It was like pretty much entirely CGI, this transformation, which is why I didn't love it, but I thought it was okay. Because again, they shot it in a really good way where they don't show you all of him at once. And it's not like a really big CGI mess.
And we should mention the CGI wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible.
No.
It didn't bother me. It was just like, why?
Yeah.
You didn't need to.
No,
use
exactly.
It.
So anyway, now the Wolfman is out. He howls into the night. Let's get this movie moving again because it was starting to lull just a bit until we got to this. Because like again, high action sequence of the Romani camp and that entire attack scene, right? Then the movie happens. Then he's the werewolf again. Okay, werewolf. So anyway, some of the townsfolk did set up a trap for him, right? So they set up like a deer next to like these pits that he could fall into, right? So he does fall into it, right? But so does another man, and he just tears him up, and suddenly it's just like a bunch of people falling into their own trap like idiots, and he's just picking them off. Yeah. He looks pretty good and creepy, but he does still look very human in his design. This is where, again, I feel like it kind of pays homage to like the original Wolfman, where it mostly just looks like a hairy man whose face looks a little different.
I just don't like that he kept his clothes on.
Yes, like, that is a thing.
It really like bothers me because like if I'm transforming into a wolf, which I do once a month,
exactly.
Don't worry about it.
We've all been there. And it's his time of the month to transform.
It's my time of the month to transform, and like my clothes come off.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the Incredible Hulk, right? Like his clothes come off. They get ripped to shreds.
I make sure to either take my clothes off and secure myself in a place, and then I look like a naked bear.
Do you think he's just like not that kind of naked bear? Good Lord. Do you think he's like super insecure about his body and that's why he wants to keep it? He's like, I don't, I've been really in the gym lately.
Which we'll get into, but the only werewolf in this movie you see shirtless is Anthony Hopkins' werewolf.
Yes, because spoiler alert, you do get to see him as a wolf later on too.
So Benicio del Toro absolutely had in his contract, I cannot be shirtless.
Cannot. They're like, but Benicio, you're covered in like prosthetics. Like that's not even your chest. We'll give you wolf abs. Do you want wolf abs? We'll give you wolf abs. What do you want? Like an 8-pack? You want a 12-pack? You want a 16-pack? We'll give you a 16-pack wolf abs. Just say the word. Benicio, please, I need this job. I need you to take your shirt. I promised my kids. I promised my kids that Benicio del Toro would take off his shirt as the Wolfman, please.
No.
Why are you murmuring? I just say something, please.
I am saying something. This is how I speak in movies. I don't want to take my shirt
off. I hate you. I hate that you've done this to me.
Okay.
No, but he keeps his clothes on the entire time as the Wolfman. He never once goes like chest out, never naked bear style Wolfman.
Forever cursed.
There's a really good kill that I loved in this sequence where there's a man who's running away from him and he wades into this water that he didn't see because it was covered by leaves and stuff. Yeah. So he's trapped. He turns around. The Wolfman's charging at him. He takes his gun and he pulls it up to his head and clicks.
He tries to kill himself
out of bullets because he's been shooting at the Wolfman this whole time.
Yep.
And so he tries to kill himself. The bullet clicks. He can't shoot himself. The Wolfman's right in front of him with one swipe. Just takes his head clean off. It was incredible. It was a wild kill.
I love how a lot of these movies we watch, use decapitation as a way to shock the audience.
And it works. God damn it. I love it.
It literally always works. Like we could do a supercut of every head decapitation we've seen in this podcast because there's a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it does work, but I think it's kind of unfortunate how well it works, right? Because it keeps getting used. That's a trope on its own.
Yeah, I love it though.
Because like think back to last episode with The Haunting.
Yep.
The only kill in that movie was
Owen
a decapitation.
Wilson getting decapitated by the flume. Exactly.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a bloodbath. It was a very fun sequence of like his first actual, the time we see Benicio del Toro as the Wolfman. Really loved it.
It was good.
So the next morning, Sir John, his father, finds his son in a messy state saying, "You've done terrible things." And then the authorities come to arrest Lawrence, who shows obvious signs of a night of murder, right? Like, his clothes are ragged and covered in blood. And like they were already suspicious of him anyway.
And you get this really silly shot of him just like galloping, trying to get away from these people.
Derek really hated the way he was walking away.
So bad. Why do people like him?
I mean, like, listen, imagine, like, Derek was real critical about the situation. Like, Derek, think about the situation this man is in. Like, if you had transformed into a werewolf for the first time, it's probably like going to the gym for a week.
Okay, that's
like
fair.
You wake up, your body, like, everything hurts.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. However, I may have given him a pass for this if he didn't act the same way in every scene. That's my problem.
Yeah, Derek holds him to a very high standard.
He's
which I thought he
supposed
was
to be
fine.
the best actor in the world. And he's
in the world?
And he's giving me this shit?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, look at the plaque on the wall. It says it right there. Benicio del Toro, best actor in the world. Wow. How did I miss that?
Shut up.
So anyway, he gets arrested. But now Sir John, his father, is safe from any Wolfman accusation. So he's safe to do whatever he wants now. So Lawrence is brought back to the asylum he was at when he was a child, which happens to be in London. So they literally took, because when he was a kid, he was sent to live with his aunt in America. They've literally brought an American werewolf back to London.
Yeah,
so
dude.
In a sense, Rick Baker has now worked on 2 American Werewolf in London movies, which is kind of funny.
This movie should be called A London Man Who Went to America Who Goes Back to London to Be a Werewolf.
Wow. Put that on a t-shirt.
London Man in America Who Goes Back to London to Be a Werewolf.
So he's brought back to the asylum that he was at when he was a child. When he was a child. They strap him into a chair and continuously slowly dip him backwards into this ice bath. Yeah,
the guy cranking it was like all giggly too.
Yeah, no, he's like this Igor type cranking it as it slowly lowers him into this ice bath, which looks horrible. It looks like terrible. A really rough time.
I wouldn't enjoy that personally.
Yeah, and it's a whole sequence of them like dipping him into the ice bath, trying to like convince him that he's a crazy person. Then they like inject him with something. Then they do like shock therapy. It's a wild sequence of like him having these crazy hallucinations. He has like 50 hallucinations, and some of which include Gwen consoling him as a lover. So like again, he's having feelings for Gwen.
Oh, Gwenny.
He always had it out for his sister's or his brother's girlfriend, and now they got married. Now he's dead. Now he's having feelings about it. But yeah, it's a pretty brutal scene watching him go through all like this, this therapy, this awful therapy they're giving him at the asylum.
For sure.
But the next day, Lawrence's father visits him at the asylum, and he tells him he contracted lycanthropy on a trip to India, where he found a strange creature that the locals had told him about, because they were telling about this like legendary beast that lived up in the mountains and such like that. And so that one that turned him was actually that weird golem creature that he's been seeing in his nightmares. Which again, I'm a little sad that like that's Werewolf 1. You're telling me this little
golem
of a
golem was the first werewolf. This
golem was the first Wolfman,
which takes us back to freaking Gerald Tolkien. Gerald Tolkien. I mean, but like a lot of people claim he was the first person to like talk about werewolves and stuff. Maybe.
Yeah. So that Wolfman, the kid-esque Wolfman golem type creature is the thing that turned his father way back when on this trip to India that he had taken.
Yeah.
And he does confirm that he was the one that killed Lawrence's mother, right? It wasn't a suicide or anything like that. And I really like that in his flashbacks initially, he goes back and he sees as a kid, he sees his mom with like this clean cut on her neck.
Yes.
But when his dad tells the story, he thinks back, and the cut on her neck is actually like this nasty gash, like
intense.
a claw mark. I thought it was kind of cool that like
it's super intense.
He was remembering details better now that he has this information. So like, oh yeah, no, there was this huge claw gash on her neck, and my dad was all bloodied up. He didn't find her this way. He killed her.
I mean, that's actually like a real psychological thing. You tend to repress memories and change them.
Yes, you change the details on them, right?
Yeah, I mean, that happens all the time in real life.
I thought it was a really cool thing. And he tells him about how actually his servant Singh, he locks him away each night. So that room that had like the chair and the shrine in front of him, his servant locks him away each night, and that's why nothing has ever happened. But then there was a night where he like accidentally knocked out Singh cold, and he was able to escape, and that's when he got out and killed his brother Ben.
Ooh.
So yeah, it was so it was also him that did that, right? He's the Wolfman doing all these killings, right? So he's actually been fairly good about it. He talks about how like he tried to keep the beast contained and stuff like that, but at this point he's getting into his twilight years as a Wolfman. He's like, when I was younger, I really should have killed more. And so he's talking about like, I don't really want to lock myself away anymore. Let's let the beast loose. Let's kill things. He talks about how like he dislikes Gwen because she was going to take Ben away from his manor, so he didn't want to lose his son, so he like got away and let his feelings get the best of him, and he just killed him. So did it himself, I guess.
Yeah, well.
So anyway, that's him telling the tale of all of his werewolf woes, whatever. And he walks away. This is a really weird, kind of funny thing. He leaves him in the asylum, and as he's walking down the hallway, what does he do, Derek?
I don't remember.
He plays the harmonica.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, with one hand.
Yeah.
He's just like casually walking down this hall playing the harmonica.
Just decides to play the harmonica.
Simultaneously the dumbest and most badass thing I've ever seen.
And again, I think it's just because it's Anthony Hopkins. I'm like, I loved that.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I was so for it.
Yep. So then we get another awesome sequence where the head of the sanitarium gathers a hall of scholars to demonstrate that Lawrence is cured and he's not any kind of werewolf, and the full moon holds no sway over him, right? And then from his bindings in the chair, Lawrence begins to transform in the middle of this room of a bunch of people, right? And it's pretty gnarly.
This scene was probably one of the better scenes in the movie, too. It was very fun.
Yeah.
Like, because you have this psychiatrist guy who's, like, very adamant. You are not a werewolf. This is all in your head.
And he's so cocky. He's so convinced that his electrotherapy and, like, the ice baths have been doing wonders for him,
it's
right?
Like, this guy doesn't remember he thought he was a werewolf anymore. And then
We've given him so much trauma. Yeah.
And then immediately in Benicio del Toro's terrible acting, he pulls out the, like, mouth guard and he's like, no, I'm a werewolf. I'm going to kill you all, you idiots.
Basically.
Sorry, let me do it right. I'm a werewolf. I'm going to kill you all.
Derek really doesn't like Benicio del Toro. I thought he did fine.
He thinks he's so great because he was in Sicaro.
You think you're so great because you have Sicaro. So now they all see the real Wolfman, and none of them are having any luck escaping as he's actually transforming into this wolf right in front of them.
Yeah.
They're all trying to rush into the door and keeping themselves from getting out because they're all pushed up against the door.
Yeah.
And he takes the head of the sanitarium, the psychiatrist guy, and he throws him out of the window, and he's impaled on a spiked fence below. It was a great sequence.
That's pretty dope.
Especially since the line that he says is like, he's no Wolfman, no more than I'm a fairy who could sprout wings and fly out the window. And then he throws him out the window. It was a great line.
Very good justice.
Really loved it. So then he escapes after killing a ton of people in this room.
Yeah.
He himself jumps out the window and escapes.
Kill scene was insane.
But we get a beautiful shot, this like Batman-esque shot of the Wolfman atop this gargoyle in London. It's wonderful.
But then he ruins it because he howls, and it wasn't a good howl.
Yeah, Derek and Emily both had beef with his Wolfman howl. Again, I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was that bad.
Movie.
Fun fact, actually, I think did I put this in the trivia? I don't know if I did. I'll talk about it anyway. They actually called in different musicians. They called in Gene Simmons to help with the howl.
What?
Yeah, weird, right? What? It was Gene Simmons and another person I can't remember, but they helped out with the howl for this one, which is kind of bonkers,
the
right?
Gene Simmons.
The Gene Simmons. But anyway, he's running across the roofs of buildings in London as Aberline chases him. And so the Wolfman is ravaging the good folk of London. It's a bloodbath again. He does manage to escape, and like he makes it under like the Tower Bridge by the river, and he laps up some water by the edge. It's kind of a cute it's very dog-like of him.
It's so weird.
It's a dog eat dog world. I hear it's a wolf eat wolf world.
It's a wolf drink lake world.
It's a wolf drink lake world. So he spends spends the night there underneath the bridge. He transforms in the morning. He's a man again. And so I was really happy about this part because remember how I was talking about how like they do these things where like they take things from the original movie and like rearrange them so they are still in this movie. In the original Wolfman, Gwen owns an antique shop, and that's where Lawrence meets her and falls for her. That's actually where he buys the Wolfman cane because he's trying to earn her favor, right? So he's like, oh, I'll buy something from your antique shop, you know? So he buys the cane. So anyway, she does own an antique shop after all, just like in the original. And so she goes to her antique shop here in London, and Lawrence is hiding in there for safety. And he tells her the whole thing about like how my father's a monster and I'm a monster, and he confesses that he's had feelings for her. And she doesn't really respond, but she does say she wants to help him. But then as he is leaving, she stops him on his way out and then kisses him. She kisses him
right on the mouth.
Which I really wish didn't happen. I think I was liking their relationship so far. They're like in a weird position where like, you know, you were married to my brother, but I care about you and I want to help you as like, you know, my sister-in-law. Is that how that works?
I guess.
Yeah. And so, yeah, but again.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Why did I say
I guess. I don't know. You would know.
Yeah.
And so she wants to help him, right? Inspector Aberline finds his way to her antique shop and starts questioning her about Lawrence's whereabouts, and she's like not giving up any information, obviously. She's like, I love him. I can't give away this information. In the night, she studies lycanthropy lore, I guess because she just has books on this for some reason. I don't know why she has books for all this stuff. But she's looking for some way to help. She even goes out to find like Maleva, the Romani woman, right? And she's asking for her help. Meanwhile, Lawrence is making the long 10-hour trek on foot all the way back to Talbot Manor, from London all the way to Blackmore.
Yeah. So again, no. Yeah. You can't do that.
10 hours.
No.
I mean, like, if he's got werewolf blood and, you know, there's 24 hours in a day, he can spend 10 hours making the walk there, especially if he's like, I need to go kill my dad. He killed my mom. He killed my brother. He turned me into a werewolf. I'm pissed. If I were in that state, I'd probably walk 10 hours too. I could probably make it work.
You could probably make it work.
You could probably make it work. If you're angry, if you give a werewolf a killed your mom and your brother, he probably can walk 10 hours to get from London to Talbot Manor.
And if he walks 10 miles from London to Talbot Manor, then he will break his foot.
Yes.
And if he breaks his foot, then he'll need a cast. And if he has to get a cast, he has to go to the doctor. But if he goes to the doctor, then the doctor will be like, hey, you got some weird stuff in your blood. And if the doctor goes, hey, you got some weird stuff in his blood, then he's going to test the blood. Then he's going to think that it has like some crazy power, so he's going to inject it himself. He's going to become a werewolf. Then if he becomes a werewolf, he's going to start wanting to spread the gene. He's going to suck his own blood. He's going to give his blood to his nurses. His nurses are going to become werewolves. Then after that, everybody's turning everybody into werewolves. Eventually, once a month, the entire city of London is going to be wolves.
What the hell was that? You got such a proud look on your face.
That was great.
Yeah, just that.
No, that's actual fact.
That's real, not fiction. That's fact, not fiction, for sure. So anyway, after that crazy tangent, we're back at Talbot Manor. Lawrence finds the dead body of his father's assistant, Singh, just like pinned up on the wall. It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
But he loads up on the silver bullets that Singh had, because there was a scene earlier where he establishes that he did have silver bullets, which I assume he probably had as a failsafe. Like, even if he was like, you know, helping his dad be a werewolf and whatnot, keeping him locked away in the night, as a just like a precautionary measure, he kept these silver bullets around, right? So he loads up on those. He's looking for his father. He finds him playing the piano, continuing to taunt him.
I loved this.
Yeah,
sorry.
it was really good.
This was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole movie.
And
I know I say that a lot.
Anthony Hopkins is sitting there playing the piano, and his fingers are like bloody. He's like leaving bloody fingerprints on the keys. Yeah, and it's like, what happened? Did he just recently kill somebody? And so like Lawrence comes into the room, he's sneaking in, and he sees an arm on like the armchair from behind, right? So he goes over, and it's actually just a dead body chilling in there,
just
right?
Chilling.
Yeah, so he just had a fresh
He's
kill.
kind of just gone insane.
Yeah.
And he's just killing.
He's really going like full Hannibal tilt here, and I really enjoyed it.
With no lecture, he went Lecter.
Yes. With no lecture, he went Lecter. That's beautiful. I love that. So he's taunting him a bunch, and he helps him. Like Benicio del Toro, Lawrence is sitting there pointing his gun at him, and he like even takes it with a cane, the cane from the beginning of the movie, with a cane, raises it to his forehead. He's like, "Go ahead and shoot me," and then click. Ah, shit.
Oh, darn.
Yep.
Darn there.
He was so cocky and confident because his father removed the powder from Singh's bullets many years ago. So the guns are useless. He knew from the start that he was not going to be able to kill him, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, again, he's kind of a crazy killer. He's like, why would I give my assistant the ability to kill me? You kidding me? Come on, I'm not that dumb.
Come on.
So they start to scrap, and they both begin to transform. And here we got full ass werewolf fight, and it was pretty fun. But mostly because in this scene, they've mostly used like almost all practical wolf suits. And I think that's what really made the scene awesome and impactful, was the fact that they like actually utilized the suits and didn't cop out doing the whole like, you know, CGI wolves fighting thing, right? So they actually used a lot of practical wolves. So we have practical Benicio, practical Anthony. Loved it.
Anthony, he just gets right into it because in his contract, he can take his shirt off.
Yeah.
He just fully rips it off, and you see full man chest. I'm convinced that wasn't prosthetic. I think Anthony Hopkins
was really just that hairy, right? That's the naked bear that we saw.
I need to believe that to feel better about my own chest.
What I really actually liked about this is because you're exactly right. You talked about the fact that like Benicio del Toro, his character kept the clothes on, and then Anthony Hopkins immediately tears them all off
because he is fully. You know what? I'm gonna give this movie more credit than it's worth. Maybe that was the point.
No, I think
he has fully embraced his
that's what I'm getting
form,
at.
Right?
He is like completely
carnal.
He is accepting this. Yes, exactly. He is like completely like carnivore, just animalistic.
Yeah.
He's like accepting his wolfness, right? And Lawrence, Benicio del Toro's character, is not accepting of this. He sees this as a curse. He doesn't want this. He wants to like keep his humanity with him. But Anthony Hopkins is far beyond it.
Do you know what Benicio del Toro needs to do?
What does he need to do?
He needs to take an orange and take a shower and eat the orange in the shower.
What does that have to do with anything?
Have you heard that? I think it was a thing that Rhett and Link did forever
What is
ago.
this?
If you eat an orange in the shower, it is the most carnal thing that you can do without like killing anybody.
Really?
Well, think about it. An orange is a messy fruit, right? You rip off the flesh of it. You just like completely shove it in your mouth.
I suppose
it's completely covering your body in juices. If you eat it in the shower,
also, I think carnal means like sexually. Is that what you mean?
No, it doesn't have to be. Carnal's like, I mean, yeah, like your carnal desires, right? It's your physical, your sexual desires. I'm not saying have sex with an orange. What I'm saying is
it's like the most like feral thing you can do, right?
No, carnal. Carnal is the word I mean, because it's like it's a physical, it's a visceral,
very sexual.
It can be. It doesn't.
Means sexual.
I have never gone into the shower and had sex with an orange. I need to establish.
I'm just saying. You're saying a lot about your relationship with oranges right now.
Okay, I watched a lot of The Annoying Orange as a kid.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That was a joke. No, but seriously, like it's a very like it's an experience.
Yes. So
I'm gonna buy you
this.
an orange for Christmas.
Gotcha.
And you're gonna go into your own shower and you're gonna eat an orange.
You go and eat that shower. You go and eat that orange in the shower, young man.
you go experience what it's like to.
You're grounded until you eat that orange in the shower. God damn it.
Don't have sex with it.
Don't ever. Do not. I swear.
I swear, if you do anything sexual with that orange,
you'll never see the annoying orange again. I swear I'll keep you two from each other forever. I don't care how much you love each other.
But Daddy, I love his high-pitched little annoying stupid voice.
Hey, it's me, the annoying orange.
Oh my God.
This is terrible content. I do not remember.
We're at the end of the movie.
Yes. So the last battle set is awesome. All of it is on fire. And to that degree, Lawrence throws his father into the fireplace, setting him ablaze. Then he just swings again and his head is completely off. I was not expecting it to be that easy. Especially since he's like the alpha wolf in this situation.
Yeah, but he just pop.
So yeah, Daddy's dead. He's done for. Suddenly, Gwen is here with Aberline, the inspector, right? And she finds the transformed Lawrence, and then Lawrence tears into Aberline pretty quickly.
Oh yeah,
but he does put up a fight. And instead of finishing off the inspector, he goes to chase down Gwen because Gwen's smart. She gets the hell out of there.
Yeah, she does.
So yeah, he follows her in hot pursuit. Aberline grabs the silver blade from the wolf cane and follows in pursuit. Then Wolf Lawrence has Gwen cornered by a waterfall. It's a very, very pretty set again, and she tries to speak to his human nature, calling to his softer side, his love, and he does stop for a moment, but then the angry mob shows up in the distance, and they're here to get him, right? So then Gwen reaches for the gun and shoots him right through the heart,
which I loved. I loved this. I loved that she was killing.
I liked it a lot. I really did.
Really good.
Yeah. So then, so she reaches for the gun. She shoots him through the heart, and then he falls to her side, and he transforms back into his human form in death. Right. So rest in peace. But then all of the townsfolk surround them and like, oh well, I guess we did it, but at what cost? You know? And then Aberline is like, oh shit, I was attacked. I was bit. And so you can see that kind of like, this is like probably best acting from him in the movie where like that sets in for him.
Yeah.
And he just kind of solemnly looks up at the moon. It's like, oh shit, I'm cursed now. I'm a Wolfman.
I liked this a lot.
So yeah, he notices this. And then Emily Blunt takes us out with a closing monologue and the movie finishes with a howl.
Just like that. That's
Raggy.
It is said there is no sin in killing a beast, only in killing a man. It's me, Emily Blunt, John Krasinski's husband. What? But where does one begin and the other end? It's me, Gene Simmons.
So that's So there's the movie. Did you get a kill count for this one?
31
kills. And like we didn't get into the detail of every single kill, just like the action sequences of the kills were so fun and fast. Yeah. But yeah, I would recommend watching them because they're a lot of fun to check out. Should we talk about our expectation results?
Let's do it.
So I said a pretty great Wolfman suit, and I do think it looks real good, but the character comes off more man than wolf, like I mentioned before. And I do wonder if that was somewhat intentional because the original Wolfman from 1941 felt very much man and only a little bit wolf, right? So I think it was intentional.
It had to have been intentional, and I liked that they did it. And I really like that they changed it enough to like stand on its own. And to go with it was incredible Rick Baker effect.
Yes.
Fuck yeah. Because like I really did enjoy that he took the werewolf design and made it better.
And I think that totally tracks because like we know his work in American Werewolf in London, right? Where that wolf is very much wolf, very little man.
Yeah,
because when you see it at the end, you see it like crawling around on the ground. It does not look like a man whatsoever.
Do you think Rick Baker's a furry?
Let's sit on that.
Okay.
Call in if you think Rick Baker's.
So my next one is some gory kills, and yeah,
I think so. Really, really good,
really gory kills.
I said hard to take seriously, and honestly, this was completely due to the nature of the misleading trailer, which made it feel incredibly campy and unserious. So, no, that didn't actually end up becoming true. The trailer was just very poorly edited.
Inconsistent movie tones from horror to camp, kinda. I don't feel like it really played out this way. I think that
again, that's due to the trailer.
I think the tone was the strongest point of this movie. Really, there were some campy moments,
the world building.
But yeah, the world building was so good that it didn't.
I really liked it. I said the top actors will do their best to uplift this movie, and honestly, the actors were pretty in line with the rest of the movie. I think they aided each other, right? I'm like that. Like in all honesty, like there were some performances that like brought it down a little bit. In all honesty, I think the movie could stand on its own a lot better than with the actors in it. So maybe I backtracked a little bit, but that's where I stand
would like a cut of this movie where Emily Blunt's character, Gwen, takes the center stage. And I want to follow her through this movie because, I mean, my next one was Benicio del Toro will be really underwhelming. And yeah, he was a waste.
Let's get a movie where it's like let's get Lawrence out of there entirely. She's married to Ben. Yeah. And then she finds his dead body and she actually accidentally gets transformed into the wolf woman, I guess.
Yeah.
And Anthony Hopkins takes this as a moment where he's like, I never liked you, but now you're a wolf with me. And so as per my son's request, I'm going to take care of you. We're going to be wolves together.
Yeah.
And it's Wolfman's, where it's Anthony Hopkins taking her under his wing as this other Wolfman. Yeah. And they go on fun capers together.
That would be awesome. I'm going to be blunt right now. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's not Hopkins to any conclusions. Yeah. I think that was great.
Emily is the name of my wife.
That's good. Thank you. I said forced romance, and I really feel like I would have liked this movie just a little bit more if they had not made Gwen kiss Lawrence like they did. It served little to no purpose since she was his brother's wife in this iteration instead of like this lady who owned the antique shop he fell for. And I feel like I would have liked it more if their love came from a different place, not of romance, not like as this kind of like siblings of a sort where they care for each other. They don't have to be romantic in any way.
I feel like we talk about this a lot. I hate how people feel the need to force romance.
Yes, it didn't need to be there.
It doesn't always have to be there.
It didn't need to be there.
It really doesn't.
Especially since, like, again, in the original movie, she's not married to his brother. That wasn't a thing. That's a new thing in this one. And because it took that spin, I would rather just stay there and not have them be romantic at all.
Too long? Yeah. Personally, I think that the movie was too long. I enjoyed the things that were added with the director's cut. But I feel like it just added more to an already long movie.
Yes, exactly. And then my final expectation was just fun action sequences. And truly, these are what like saved this movie for me. I don't know, like saved or really made the movie for me. The movie could get into these like lulls of very little suspense, but then these chaotic Wolfman scenes were just such a fun time that any past crimes were immediately forgiven, right? So like I thought it was very fun for those reasons.
For sure.
Yeah.
Surprises.
My surprise, it still holds up. I'm happy to say that I liked this movie in the past, and I still do today after a fresh watch.
Yeah.
I said the gore. We did watch the unrated cut, which adds, again, an extra 17 minutes, so this probably plays into this, but people got massacred in this, and it was so much fun to watch. I was surprised by the ways they tied in bits from the original 1941 movie. They made me so happy. It was able to carve its own path and be a more original take on it, but still be pretty faithful to the original, which I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I was surprised that Danny Elfman did the music throughout the entirety of the film. I was thinking about how well the music sat in the atmosphere and the cinematography and the color palettes. So I'm really happy I liked it before I even knew Elfman had done the score. It really, really makes sense.
For sure.
And then my last expectation was just the visuals of this movie were to die for. The sets, the mist covering the sets, the costumes, every detail was gorgeous to look at. I loved it.
For sure. For me, the random uses of CGI, it felt really silly to use CGI at certain points. Why? I'm sure that had something to do with the production of this movie, but it really made no sense.
Yeah.
Emily Blunt's performance. Normally, I hate her type of character. I don't generally care for
I think
that
she
forced
does good
woman
often,
romance,
but the type of character that she this role, right?
I don't know what to even call it.
No,
but it's a trope for sure.
The forced romantic interest, I guess.
Maybe, for example, I kept in my brain comparing her to the character in Van Helsing, that played by
Anna, right?
What is her name? Veronica Melbourne.
I don't remember her name.
It's okay. Vanessa Hudgens is not her, but we're going to call her that.
Sure.
But she was a similar character, right?
Yes.
It was that similar vibe. It was a forced romance. She ends up, killing the guy at the end. It felt very, very similar. And I didn't like the one in Van Helsing very much, but I loved Emily Blunt.
Yeah,
I thought she did a very,
job.
very good job. She was a really standout for me.
Really,
again, surprise.
The only weak point that I had for her was the fact that she kissed the man. I'm and that's just a weak point in the writing.
That was
her.
and
she would have been a lot stronger if that hadn't happened.
Her character motivation was only there because she acted it well, right? It wouldn't have been there otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
Another surprise for me, surprisingly enough, it's a surprise that it's a surprise, is how much I didn't like Benicio del Toro. I know that you thought he was fine. I really didn't care for him.
Derek hated him.
Oh, I thought
really
his
funny.
Performance in this movie was terrible.
Literally, the man could not deliver a single line without Derek being like, he sucks.
Well, I mean,
really though,
it was basically like that because from the moment where he was doing Hamlet in the first scene of the movie, I was not with him. He did not pull me in.
I'll give you that. That was bad. And again, I don't know if he's supposed to be a good actor or not, but it wasn't.
There's a scene where Anthony Hopkins' character is talking to his character and says, you've played Macbeth, you've played Richard III. He's making these comments, and I'm like, don't let him play these characters.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing? He's terrible. Danny Elfman, again, with you. I'm with you on that one.
Wild.
It blew my mind that he did it. It doesn't surprise me in the sense because the music was good, but it was just surprising to see his name. Anthony Hopkins' character,
wonderful.
I'm not necessarily surprised by his acting because I like Anthony Hopkins a lot.
Great,
but his character was great. I think him and Emily Blunt really carried this movie for me.
Definitely.
Another one was Elrond. I can't. What's his name?
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving.
Yeah.
I didn't care for him in this either.
Yeah.
He was kind of just there. He was on the sidelines.
Him as an actor is very hit and miss. It's one end to the other.
It is. It's very true.
He has some great ones because as Elrond in Lord of the Rings
and
wonderful.
Smith in Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. Those are good ones.
He's great, but in this he just didn't do it for me. And then finally, my last surprise for this movie was the ending. I loved that she killed him.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that Hugo Weaving's character got turned. I thought that it was just a fun little twist. Having the two fight at the end was really, really good too.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
What's your verdict?
Verdict for me? I mean, you probably already guessed it, folks at home. Let's say it. That
was horrible.
Yes.
I'm with you.
Though at times the substances and the relationships between characters was a little lackluster, leading to me aching to see the Wolfman reappear. It is a very respectful adaptation of the 1941 movie, and it was a howling good time to watch Benicio del Toro's Wolf tear into the poor townsfolk. There was great sets, great music, great effects a decent amount of the time when they weren't covered in CGI. So I thought it was a howling good time.
Howling good time. I'm right there with you. Horrible all the way. I think if you can get over Benicio del Toro's performance, and if you have a couple hours, you have nothing else to do, this is a good movie to watch with some friends.
I like that, such a glowing review. If if you're absolutely destitute and have nothing else to watch,
listen,
then I guess you can watch
if
this
you
one.
can't leave your house to go see the new Godzilla movie.
Yeah, if you can't go
stay at home, watch this.
I guess you could do that instead, right?
No, but I would say it's a horrible review for me. I didn't care for the uses of CGI, but I loved the prosthetics. I loved the action sequences, and I really do mean that. I really did enjoy them a lot. So, hey, what's up, Count Trivia?
It is me, Werewolf Trivia. I am a wolfman now. Can you tell? Look at my fangs.
Hey, how's your dental care?
My dental care is fantastic. Thank you for asking. Yeah, check out my pearly whites. Ding.
Is your dentist also a vampire?
Well, they must be, of course, because if they weren't, then we would kill them. That's what would happen.
Do you ever get very cross with him?
We try not to. That's very offensive. I'm mad. You let this guy talk to me this way. I'm going away. Well, you've upset him again. So, trivia for this time. There was actually quite a bit of trivia to be had in this one.
Ooh, let me have it.
So yeah, we got a ride here. So, remember that bear that everyone was accusing of being the killer in the beginning, the really cute one?
Yeah.
The bear owned by the Romani people was actually recycled animation from the Golden Compass from 2007.
Excuse me?
Which had that polar bear in it, right? You remember that? So yeah, the polar bear was just changed into a grizzly bear for this movie, but it's just recycled animation.
No.
Which I never thought I've never thought that could happen, but it can.
I guess all he did was look sad.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of hilarious that even happened.
I kind of felt like that was a plot line. They got a flash drive with some CGI on it, and one of the things in there was the Golden Compass bear.
Hey, dude, check this out. Does that say the polar bear from the Golden Compass?
Wait, hold on.
We gotta get this in the
David
movie.
Self, come here. Yeah, what's up? It's me, Self.
Me, David Self. I'm here by myself.
Oh, sweet. I'm gonna just type that up.
No, but it can't be. We're in.
No.
Add it. It's going to be a grizzly bear. It'll make perfect sense. So Inspector Francis Aberline, who is Hugo Weaving, was based on Frederick Aberline, a Scotland Yard inspector who investigated London's Jack the Ripper murders in 1888.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, kind of neat. They even actually do mention that when when Aberline was kind of harassing Lawrence about how he was in the asylum. Yeah. He was like, "Yeah, weren't you on the Jack the Ripper case?" So like they actually do mention that, which I thought was kind of neat.
Yeah, that's cool that it's factual.
This one was crazy interesting to me. Danny Elfman was the original composer on this film and recorded a complete score inspired by, I cannot say this name, Wojciech Kilar's score for Bram Stoker's Dracula in 1992. So that was his inspiration for it, and I think that really pulled through. His score was rejected as it did not fit the new tone of the movie after several reshoots and delays, because that's something I actually didn't get too into in the trivia, and we haven't mentioned a lot. This movie went through several directors' hands. There were years and years of delays. I think Benicio del Toro had agreed to do this movie in like 2006, and it wasn't even released until 2010. So yeah, there were a lot of reshoots and delays that had happened. So in that time, the movie had a different tone, so they actually nixed Danny Elfman's score. So then Paul Haslinger was supposed to replace him. But Universal Pictures pulled the plug on that and decided to reinstate Elfman's Gothic score, which, thank crazy. God. Why would you do something so stupid?
It's so dumb. He's like one of the greatest composers of all time.
Right? And he ended up winning awards for it.
Yeah.
So when the Wolfman is being chased in London, there's a scene where he jumps off of a building and lands on a policeman. He just goes up in a bloody mess. And it, like, you would think it was CGI. This was actually accomplished by real actors and stuntmen and not CGI, which I thought was kind of cool.
That is insane. Yeah. That's so cool.
Rick Baker, the makeup artist, appears as the Romani man who whistles prior to the werewolf attacking the Romani camp.
That's right. We called that when it was happening.
We totally called that. Yeah, he's like front and center of the screen. He's like, what's that? What's going on? Then he just like gets rammed by the Wolfman, just steamrolled.
My entire existence was making werewolf costumes. I of course would want to get killed by one.
I would love to be killed by one. You kidding me? That's fun. The way Sir John Talbot, Sir Anthony Hopkins, plays the harmonica while walking through the halls of the asylum was Hopkins' idea.
What?
He was totally the one who's like,
I mean, of course it was.
Hello, yes, it's me, Anthony Hopkins. I think it'd be really great if he played the harmonica. That's nothing. No matter what Lawrence was wearing previously, the Wolfman is always in the same clothes post-transformation, which I never really noticed. But
I didn't notice that either.
The clothing is not consistent with it, which is actually kind of funny because that was also the case in the 1941 original as well. No matter what he's wearing, when he transforms, he's in a Wolfman costume that is different than the clothes he was wearing as a human.
I like that.
Yeah, Benicio del Toro's Wolfman makeup took approximately 3 hours to apply and 1 hour to remove. So it's too much. It's a process to become a Wolfman.
I too would be a grumpy actor.
I would too. Are you kidding me? When Lawrence meets the Romani people, he rescues a woman searching frantically for her daughter. Right? There's a scene where like she's looking around as the werewolf is attacking people. He tackles her to get her out of the way of a Wolfman attack. Right?
Yeah.
The daughter is named Maria after Maria Ospenskaya, who played Maleva in the original Wolfman from 1941, and also in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman from 1943.
Cool.
Yeah, kind of neat. Awesome. So that's all of our trivia for today. What's our next movie, Derek?
Guess what time it is?
What time is it? Christmas.
Did you know there's a crap ton of bad Christmas movies?
There's a lot.
Horror
are there?
No movie's bad.
There's
a crap ton of horror movies that are rated really poorly.
Oh, really?
And I would like you to make a decision for me.
Okay.
What do you like more? Do you like an elf, or do you like a little Santa's elf?
I mean,
or
I love
do you
little
like
ghouls, little creatures,
a snowman? What do you like?
Ooh,
more?
that's tough.
What do you like more?
Let's go with the snowman.
All right, so we will be watching Jack Frost from 1997 with a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes. I've actually heard about this movie a lot.
Now this
people
looks fun.
talk about this movie a lot. We were gonna watch a different one, but it was a remake. So I was like, you know what? I've had enough remakes.
We've done a lot.
I want to watch a movie
lately.
that's different. So for Christmas season, the next 3 movies we're gonna watch are gonna be Christmas themed.
Yep. We'll give you all that you want. At some point, we will watch the mean one. I don't know why we've made this out to be this big thing, but like we're gonna watch the mean one.
I think it's
the
because
Grinch, Art the Clown's actor is in it.
I think it's because we're big fans of Terrifier. So we're like,
great stuff.
The next one's gonna be. It's gonna be big.
Yeah, absolutely. So stick with us through the holiday season. We got lots of spooky horrors for you.
And we know that you don't have as much time to listen to podcasts during this season. Most people don't, and that's okay.
That's all right.
Cool.
We forgive you.
You'll come back. You'll listen to this in January and be like, "Man, I'm so sick of Christmas." But that's okay.
Man, I'm so sick of Christmas. I really need to hear about Garfield again.
But at least I checked them out on these social medias.
Yeah, you checked us out on our socials. You checked us out on Instagram at _was_horrible, Twitter at TWH Podcast, Facebook at That Was Horrible Podcast, YouTube at That Was Horrible, and now we are also on TikToks, and so we'll be posting. We're figuring it out. Listen, we're old guys. I don't know what a TikTok is.
Is that the same as music.ly?
Maybe.
Musically? Is that a Vine?
But so we're on TikTok now. You can find us at just one whole stretch of word. That Was Horrible. We're on there. We've got one video.
Horrible.
Yeah, it looks like That Wash Horrible. I realize now that our word together looks terrible strung together like
but
that.
It's okay. That Was Horrible podcast on TikTok.
But yeah, so please, if you're
give us
one
a follow.
TikToks, come check it out. Check us out now. Like we mentioned last episode, we're now doing this like where we have a video recording of us. So we're gonna take that and turn it into fun clips that we'll use for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can see our faces and
see our
maybe get confused
antics.
On which one's which.
Yeah, who's who? I don't know. Is that Derek? Is that Isaac?
Count
How
Trivia?
do you use a TikTok?
Yeah, what's your TikTok? Anyway, thanks for sticking with us for
Thank
this
you
longer
so
episode.
much.
It's always fun to talk about movies we actually really enjoy.
Yeah, so this was a really fun one. I'm really happy that it ended up being a good time, and we enjoyed ourselves, and we enjoy doing this and chilling with you guys and talking about movies. Thank you for giving us the space to do this.
And stay spooky during Christmas.
Stay spooky. Throughout the holiday season, the spooks don't have to stop. Stay spooky no matter what.
Stay spooky.
Now I'm going to go learn how to do TikTok and be spooky.
Huh? Okay.
Come on, Grandpa. Let's go. Stay spooky.
Stay spooky.
Goodbye.